Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up here live on today's show, we're going to get into some Jimmy Garoppolo news. If you don't follow me on social media, you didn't see what Adam Schefter had to say late last night during Monday Night Football. Then what I wanted to end up doing here is do 5 burning questions going in to the Raiders' Week 4 game up against the Los Angeles Chargers. I'll give you some keys to victory and then players that simply need more playing time. We'll also discuss some more news around Davante Adams and Chandler Jones. And if anybody needs to get those questions, comments on the show, if you still need to vent, hey, I'm right here for you. Hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat in order to do so. And I already see a super from PG2869. It says, in my opinion, it doesn't matter who is at quarterback if our line can't block. No one will be successful, and JJ will be negative again. Real one for life. I actually disagree with the idea that it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. The hope that McDaniels and I had, and I think a lot of Raider fans had, that Jimmy Garoppolo would be much better than what he has been. But what does the NFL do? It learns, and you have to continue to learn and learn and learn, or else you're going to get left in the back burners. One of the things that drives me nuts with McDaniels. And teams are continually stacking the box, and it's 8 against 5. It's 9 against 6. It's just always the Raiders are at a disadvantage. So even if Jimmy G is a better quarterback than Aidan O'Connell, the fact that O'Connell can throw the ball actually 30, 40 yards down the field, defenses are going to have to learn to respect that. Now, obviously, if Aidan is just as bad as Garoppolo, well, then we're in trouble. There's no doubt about it. But it definitely doesn't help when your QB leads the NFL in interceptions and your team is ranked dead last in rushing. The Josh McDaniels offense is predicated on being able to run the football. So how about this? We're already talking about Jimmy G. Let's get it going. Will Garoppolo play this week? Type Y for yes or type your N for no. Josh McDaniels mentioned yesterday during his press conference that Garoppolo has entered the concussion protocol. And anytime I hear concussion protocol, when people ask me, hey, Mitch, is this player going to play? I don't know. And nobody really does truly know because it is something that you don't exactly have all the information out there, and that's the one thing with the concussion protocol. I will say, though, yesterday Adam Schefter said that he doesn't think that Garoppolo is going to be able to get out of the protocol, which then brings up the question, well, who the hell is going to be the starting quarterback this upcoming week for the Silver and Black? But I see Jeff, Billy, Bernardo, John, Dan's, Brian, Rebel. I mean, there's nobody typing Y for yes, though Brian Darr says, unfortunately, maybe he's saying yes. Mark and Lucky are going to say Aidan O'Connell's going to get the start. Hey, we'll see. Let's go to Ryan Bass. Yesterday, Chugs, Ryan had his very first bang here on the Raiders Report. It was pretty legendary.
You always remember your first bang.
You always do, man.
I was in high school.
I would say, so is Refined Zeus. I would say a mobile quarterback helps the offensive line. A mobile quarterback can help out the offensive line, but the offensive line's not the problem. And I will continue to say that over and over and over again here on this show. The Raiders right now have a top 5 pass blocking offensive line. They do. In terms of the run blocking line, the run blocking has struggled. Dylan Parham needs to step it up a little bit. Andre James needs to step it up a little bit. Greg Van Roten, no doubt about it. But overall, I don't view the offensive line as being the problem. To me, it's a simple math problem. If you have 5 offensive linemen and there are 7 to 8 defenders always in that area, you're probably going to lose that matchup most of the time. Defenses continue to stack the box. And that's what's going to happen when you have no threat whatsoever of being able to throw the ball further than 20 yards. Jimmy Garoppolo is on pace for 34 interceptions and 0 completions over 40 yards. You're not going to win football games like that. I'm sorry. It's just simply not going to happen. Now, we got another super chat from Ryan, but before I get to that, I want to do something for David Zahn. So Zahn yesterday... And yes, PG and Ryan Bass, you guys are entered in a competition here that I know nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. But every $5 super chat that we get today, you're going to be entered in for a chance to win a Raiders Report t-shirt. I know, pretty awesome stuff. So yesterday, Zahn hit the gong. And for those of you that don't know, the only way I'm drinking anymore on Mondays and Tuesdays is if somebody makes me hit that gong. Well, Zahn made me hit that gong. And one of the things that he said yesterday in a super chat was, I don't want to do a Mick anything. He gives us Irish folk a bad name. If you did not see the video that I posted on Twitter or Instagram, please go check it out at Mitchell Renz 365. But yesterday, Coop was filling in for Chugs, and we made this like giant compilation. Is that the right word for it? Yeah, compilation of everybody calling Josh McDaniels a silly name. So today, what I figured would be a fun thing to do in honor of David Zahn, if you send in a $5 super chat, okay, instead of putting your name down as PG2869, instead of putting your name down as Ryan Bass or Jasper, I want you to put your duck name down as Mick Dummy. Mick, we heard a Mick Dildo yesterday. Mick whatever, fill in the blank, because then when I do the duck race, I want to have to be able to say all of those names while I do the duck race. Does that make sense? So you send in a $5 to enter the duck race, but I want your name to be Mick whatever. You come up with it in the super chat. And if you don't put in the name, I guess, we're just going to put your regular name, or we can do Mick PG, Mick Ryan Bass. All right, if you don't give us a name, you're going to be Mick Ryan Bass and Mick PG2869. And the winner gets this, a McDaniels Eats Corn the Long Way shirt. We've had a few people say, Mitch, I didn't want to buy it before, but now I'm going to get it again. And hey, if you just want to outright buy it, you can go to chatsports.com/corn. They come in all sorts of sizes. I don't remember all the sizes that they're in, but they are actually selling rather quickly, which maybe surprises you. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know what it does. But either way, whoever wins the duck race today, at the very, very end of the show, in honor of David Zahn, you get yourself a Josh McDaniels Eats Corn the Long Way shirt. Hopefully you can at least laugh about it, right? Hopefully we can at least laugh about it. What else do we have? We also have Chargers fans eat corn the long way. I think that's fair. If you would rather have a Chargers fans eat corn the long way shirt than a Josh McDaniels fans eat corn the long way shirt, I'm sure we can make it happen. That guy Ryan, I like it. Sam Russo, Papaya Man, you guys are all getting the hang of this. We got 623 people watching. I have been ripping on Josh McDaniels probably more than anybody out there that covers the Raiders. But let's get one thing straight. I want the Raiders to win. I want Josh McDaniels to succeed. I want Jimmy Garoppolo to succeed. I don't care who plays quarterback. I literally don't. If it's Brian Hoyer and he takes this team to the playoffs, I am all freaking in. But you know what I will not do? I don't want to be the negative Nancy like I was this past week, so I'm going to make light of the situation. I'm going to poke fun at Josh McDaniels. I'm going to poke fun at this entire thing, because if I got to sit up here for 14 weeks and bitch and moan about how bad the Raiders are, I'm going to go nuts. So you know what? Let's turn it into a little bit of a joke here. What up, Ryan Bass? I agree. Only reason Jimmy got sacked is because he doesn't move or extend plays well. Plus, he can't throw far at all. Again, like, you're going up against a good defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith. When defenses know that they can just pin their ear back and they can get after the quarterback, like, that's what's going to start happening here. If teams know that you can't run the football because Garoppolo's not going to throw it 10 yards down the field, and even if they don't have to blitz, they can bring some pressure because they know that you're still not going to be able to burn them, teams are going to be able to pin their ears back and come after you. And when you have that talented of players, yes, Jermaine Illuminor and Colt Miller have been playing solid, but T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith are two of the best edge rushers in the biz. Like, the Raiders have been going up, like the Buffalo Bills have a legit defense. I thought the Broncos were at least an average defense. Turns out maybe it's not the case. I don't know what to think. I don't know what's worse, the fact that the Raiders only scored 17 against Denver, and right now they're giving up 40 points per game. What up, Jasper? Everyone's saying we should lose to draft Williams. I say we give Aidan a shot, can throw and read defenses. So yesterday, I put out a video around why the Raiders have to start Aidan O'Connell from this point, and you got to go forward. I get that every single person out there wants their team. That's probably bad to draft Caleb Williams. But to me, the Raiders aren't in first place. If they were 0-3, it's a different conversation. And let's just say The Chicago Bears have been pretty bad. The Raiders and Bears play in a few weeks here, so maybe that ends up deciding it. But there are worse teams to me than the Las Vegas Raiders. But even if you don't get Caleb Williams, there's some other good quarterbacks out there. I want to give Aidan O'Connell a shot this season to figure out, can Josh McDaniels win with a quarterback that he handpicked? And if O'Connell can't get it done, I get it's not 100% fair to him, but then you got to look at a super, super deep quarterback class and say, you know what? We tried. It's time to move on. That's what I would do. I don't know what Mark Davis and the Raiders are going to do. What up, Sam? I'm going to the game on Sunday. That's awesome. It's probably going to be the only time the Raiders have a home field advantage the entire year, so I'm glad you get to go to the Charger Stadium and have a good time. But I'm extremely worried that they'll start Hoyer. What a waste of a day that would be. I appreciate what you do, Mitch. I'll say, from a game standpoint, that would be frustrating. I'm not going to get that twisted for you. If they were to roll out Brian Hoyer, I would sit up here and I'd look at every single one of y'all right now, and I've been the person where I don't want to believe that Josh McDaniels is trying to tank. I don't want to believe that the Raiders are trying to lose football games. Sure, the idea of getting your franchise QB in a Drake May or Caleb Williams is great, but I'm not even sure that the Raiders would even draft one of those guys. Like I don't know what to think of this organization. I don't know what to think of this organization. I'll say this, though. If they end up playing Brian Hoyer over Aidan O'Connell, I will admit it on the show that they must be actually trying to tank this season, and that no matter what happens, they're going to be back next season. Let's go to Papaya Man 89. If McDildo starts, that's the name. Hoyer over Aidan. Let's riot. Let's see what the young kids got. My first bang was when I was 15. Fast and Furious, baby. Were you watching the Fast and Furious, or would that be your movie title? You know what I mean? I mean, either one's. Congratulations on the sex, Papaya Man. Yeah, and let's go to that guy, Ryan. He's going to go with Mick Disappointment. So right now we have in our duck race at the very, very end of the show, we got Mick PG. We got Mick Ryan Bass. I got Mick Jasper. Mick Sam Russo. We got Mick Dildo. That's Papaya Man. Mick Disappointment from that guy, Ryan. I like this so far. I like this game. Hopefully this duck race is pretty legit. Let's go to Preston. We need another 8-9 Max Crosbys to fill our massive leaks in both sides of the team. If you had another 8-9 Max Crosbys, this would be the greatest defense of all time. Like, Max Crosbys don't grow on trees. Top 10 defenders don't grow on trees, right? Like, to me, though, you need to find a defensive line. Besides Max, he's really the only one that's showing up. Though I've been impressed from what I've seen from Malcolm Coots. I got to show him his flowers. Your linebacking core has been playing a lot better. Your secondary's not as bad as what people get. It's not as bad as what people think that it is. When you have to defend as long as those guys have to defend, it's tough. It makes your job very, very difficult. Let's go to Brian Darr, a.k.a. in the race, McChicken. Too scared to change and swallow his pride to win games. Oh, boy. If you fail to make adjustments, whether you're a head football coach, whether it's your normal day life, if you fail to learn what the trends are, you are always going to get left behind. And it is I shouldn't say the number one. It is definitely one of the things on my long list of Josh McDaniels problems that I have. If NFL coaches don't ever learn how to make adjustments in games, teams are going to kick your ass every time because you're laying out a blueprint of, hey, this is what we do. And if a team knows exactly what you're going to do, they're going to be able to prep for you the perfect way every single week. And that's why, Josh, it's why you see the Raiders look good in the first quarter. They look offensively, that team can move the football in the first quarter. After that, they look like that they've didn't practice all week. Why? Defensive coordinators learn how to make adjustments. The Raiders, they don't. Raider Muerte, always sending in the good vibes, my guy. Let's go to Johnny Cat, 78. McDaniels? What's that dollar menu look like? Would you order off that dollar menu, Johnny Cat? I don't know if I would. A McDaniels? They probably serve breakfast all day. Die Hard Raiders Report fan. That's a hell of a picture if I've ever seen one. That's probably, Chuck just said that's his mom. That's probably, God, 5 years ago at this point. McDiabetes needs to go. I'm getting tired of losing every season. We can't even draft. Wilson is looking like ass, and Carter is balling out. Raider fans got to stop comparing the two. I honestly think that the reason why Jalen Carter is playing as well as Jalen Carter is because he's in the perfect situation on the perfect team, surrounded by everything that he needs to succeed. If you were to put Carter on a team like the Chicago Bears, the Las Vegas Raiders, hell, some of these other teams that have struggled in recent years, I don't think that he'd be the same player. Also, on top of the whole Tyree Wilson thing is, people are starting to really point the finger at Tyree Wilson, and I get right now with everything that Chandler Jones is going on with, it's not really fair to put blame on Chandler until we know all the facts. But the Raiders did not plan on playing Tyree Wilson as much as what they have been forced to because they were trying to rely on Chandler Jones. Instead of saying that Tyree Wilson's a bust, if anything, you should give that guy at least a little bit more credit and a little bit more time for putting himself out into the field, putting himself out there in a situation because simply the Raiders need him to go out there and they need him to play right now because you don't have somebody that you were relying on Chandler Jones. Has Tyree played bad? Yes. Has he looked good? No. 56 snaps, 1 quarterback pressure. It's not good, but if you're not 100% healthy, then I do think that you have to be able to add that into the equation. And the fact that he's playing when he's not 100% healthy because the guy that you were relying on is not there, you got to take that into consideration. Let's go to Rudy, 54-53. McDonuts, you in. Needs to figure out how to game manage unless he has no faith in the offense, no excuses for the choices made last week. And I think every single person watching the show right now 100% agrees with you where there are no excuses for what you did last week. Yet McDaniels doubled down and they said that he doesn't really think that he would do anything different. He also, when it was asked by you not going for it there at 4th and 4 at the 8-yard line, he didn't think that it had anything to do with him not having confidence in his offense. It screams to every single person that has a brain that you don't have confidence in the quarterback that you wanted. Like, the coaching staff here by this Raiders organization, it drives me nuts. Mick Lombardi today said that he loves what he sees from Michael Mayer. Are you watching the same games that I am? Do I think Michael Mayer is talented? Yes, I do. But they are putting him in situations where they're asking him to block. And I mean, sometimes when he goes out there and he blocks, I'm like, I don't know what he's doing. He looks completely lost. He's not the same player that I saw at Notre Dame. He's not. And it makes me wonder what the hell these coaches are doing sometimes. Let's go to Vic. Mick, I'll tell you what, if this one wins by just a head, then that's going to be a great one. What up, Rich? Mick, small. I'll say these during the race. I'll say some of these. What up, Doc? Almost. Mick, F-U, Knuts. I think that's how you pronounce that one. Mick, F-U, Knuts. And, Doc, if you want to get in the duck race, $5 super chat to get in. Let's go to Christopher. Mick, D, Head. All right, it's a good one. Aidan Woods, what up, brother? I'm not McLovin this season so far. This is actually a really creative one. Also, Aidan, I realize what Instagram account you run now, and I kind of wish that I would have known that before. You should maybe you have told me. My memory is absolutely garbage, but much love. Appreciate the fact that you watch the show. And then the Charger fan that, for whatever reason, always wears this. I'll tell you this right now. If Danny ends up winning this race, I am 100% going to send him Chargers fans eat corn the long way shirt. You got to do it. Also, Danny, I said it yesterday, and I'm going to say it again. You can do better with your picture.
Get a pick.
I mean, what is this picture? Like, you can barely even tell what that is. There's so many other pictures, and that's the one that you chose. I believe in you. You can do better. You can do better.
You're like, is that Pikachu's?
That looks like Pikachu's Pikachu. Yeah. Yikes. Sam Russo, McFraud eats corn the long way. Sam Russo, I'm really hoping that we can get this whole Josh McDaniels thing together. What's funny is this. If the Raiders win this week, celebration. Victory Monday. All is good again.
celebrate. Good
If Aidan
times,
O'Connell
come
gets a
on.
win this week, hell, I'll tell you what, if Brian Hoyer gets a win this week, you better never see Jimmy Garoppolo play football again.
I do have to say one thing before we get going
Can't
more
wait.
in the show.
Yep.
I have to shout out one of the realest people in the chat right now. He's helping me out big time. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, our resident Brit, Senior Martin.
Yep.
He put together a list of all the numbers of the jerseys we have.
There's no effing way.
I just have to say, I saw that this morning
Really?
while I was getting ready for work. And I was like, holy crap, he just made my life 10 times easier.
But see, he doesn't know all the numbers, though. Like, there's still...
He left a spot for the numbers he doesn't know yet. Click on the...
All right, I'm going to look here. Bersosa, Buddy Bear, Choco Bear, Roxy, Raider, Ron Blue, Richards. Yeah, see, Delgado is number 7. I mean...
It's close.
10 is Marianne, 11 is Savvy. All right. Otto, Lucky, Wild One, Howland. I like it. Fresno, Borelli. Venthrak, 19. Rebel, Orozco, Borelli, DeSavior, Trivan, Husker, Podcast. I mean, I'll have to go through and I'll have to look at all these again, but...
It's a good baseline.
It's a very good baseline. Yeah,
Right?
Cass Joey's 50.
Right?
I mean, yeah, it's good. I appreciate it. Seriously. See, that's why I love Martin. Martin's a real one, man.
So everybody spam Martin in the chat.
Martin's a real one. Martin's like, while I was having my morning tea, I sat down and I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this.
Martin's been helping us out. Real one.
Martin's a real one. There's no doubt about it. All right, y'all, if you had to pick a starter, now here's the way that I want you to do this, okay? If you had to pick a starter and all 3 were healthy, all 3 were an option this upcoming week against the Chargers, who would you go with? Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer, or Aidan O'Connell? Chugs, you missed kind of overreaction Monday yesterday.
It's looking like the DNC in the chat because all I'm seeing is AOC.
Oh, man, that's funny. Also, there's 87% of the votes at the live poll at the very top. We do have 850 people watching. Yeah, only 183 likes.
Oh, no. So I take those 3 claps I did, I take them back.
Yeah. Is that how that works, right? Yeah, I think that's how it works.
I disavow those claps.
See,
Disavow.
now you're good. Chili Man, Brian Dar, Zalesbo, Anthony Hernandez, Gwen, Ryan, Connor, Pillaging just for fun. I got Monty, Felix, Justin, Wesley Wallace, Juan Hernandez. Oh boy, Doza, Mitch. Raiders being so bad makes your job too easy. I disagree. Raiders being bad makes my job more difficult. If I could just show up every single Sunday game day and we celebrate wins,
El Loco Uno wanted to know.
so much easier.
Who's the 3% that voted for Brian Hoyer?
I've been saying this. I said the people, because I've seen a lot of polls like this on social media, and that's where the number's been, the 3% for Hoyer. I said either A, it's every Chargers fan alive voted on that poll, or B, that person's got some fat fingers. I mean, I'm talking, they got fingers that look like knuckles. Huge, huge fingers.
All right, we have some more super chats to roll.
Let's keep it rolling here. What up, Wild One? Mount Raider more. Everyone show love to Wild One. Thanks, Mitch. Literally just mentioning Josh McDaniels and Garoppolo caused my phone to crash for 15 minutes. Those two are so toxic. Thanks.
Well, you're going in as
Mick Wild One. Mick 14. What up? Doc Holliday. Mick Chin Nuts.
That might have been a better one than your first one, too, Doc.
I think so.
I think it was good that you only sent in 2.
Yep. Mick Chin Nuts is a very interesting one.
Papaya Man, you're already in, but thanks for the super chat.
It's a ballsy name, no doubt about it. Luke, Mick Brown streak. It's just like, what can we add Mick to? I almost feel like what we did yesterday, I kind of want to do it again with all these, but there's just so many.
Might get your account blocked.
Yeah, that would Mick suck. No doubt about it.
That would Mick blow.
Oh, bro, that'd be awful. Also, we're not only just going to make up Micks, we are going to also get into some Raiders content here in a little bit. Jasper.
I changed your name because you sent one earlier, so I just changed yours to...
This is a good one. My fiance would appreciate that one. Mr. Casual Spaz. Fetal position, no nut is holding this team back. You got that one?
Yep.
We got it. It's in there. Brandon, Mount Raidermore. How about McClown can my Ronald McDonald and Mick never getting laid? Locals. Tell us, Mitch, about it, please. Brandon, I will be live tomorrow on the locals, though. I probably got to do it a little bit earlier than what I usually do. I got some stuff. I got a wedding on Thursday. I got to do some stuff tomorrow to kind of get ready for that. But I will be live tomorrow on locals, raidersport.locals.com. Shout out to one of the GOATs here, Brandon Jasper.
Locals.
Dylan, please name my duck Ducky Garoppolo because my man can lob a duck. I like it.
You're in.
Dylan, and hey, Ducky Garoppolo, you're good. The next question is, and Jeremy and we found this out. I think you and Rolly do it on Thursday. We have recently discovered that we can do more than duck races.
Yes.
There's other animals, creatures, and things. I think you and Rolly do a different one.
Holiday specials coming up, too.
I think you and Rolly do a different one for every single one on Thursday. I think you do it.
Rolly, you down?
I mean, I feel like I'm Lord of Boots. I feel like Rolly's like Lord of the Ducks.
Rolly gave me a thumbs up, or at least I think that was his thumb.
Yeah, I mean, if Rolly might have been using that to click Brian Hoyer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Short and stimpy.
Isaac, what up, man? McDingleberry better not start Brian Hoyer. I'm telling you right now, if he ends up starting Hoyer, there's going to be a riot. Like, people are going to be very upset. And then I know next week, right? Like, Sunday Night Football, all eyes are on the Raiders. This is one of the reasons why I don't think that they're going to start Brian Hoyer, because it comes down to money, right? What a one thing that all owners care about. They care about money. They care about their image. It's just a cold, hard fact. You put Brian Hoyer in that game on week 4 against the Chargers, I don't think people show up Monday Night Football against the Packers. And that's something that I know Mark Davis does not want. What?
Look at the comment section. Look at Move Today.
I got my boot back, guys. Congratulations to Killa.
We were literally talking to Cody this past weekend about it.
Yep.
He goes, yeah, it's still back in my office.
He got the boot back. Congratulations. Wild one, Josh McDaniels does something with
Corb
the long way.
Yeah, he does.
Corb the long way.
PG, I changed your name to McTeabag.
McTeabag? All right, you're in, PG. JT.
God.
McD. Ick. Suker. McDeek Suka. Also, how do you feel about Zeeg as a standalone GM? I'd love to see what Champ's got if Zeeg's on his way out, too. Here's the thing. I actually like Ziegler. I do honestly believe that he's a good GM. I do honestly believe that he has been able to show that he can find some of the right deals in terms of contracts, some of the players. And, like, when I think about this Raiders draft class, I liked it. When I thought about some of the moves that the Raiders made in the offseason, I like some of the moves, right? But if you don't have the right coaches in place to be able to get those players where they need to be, like the fact that they are putting Michael Mayer in the situations that they are, it's not that Michael Mayer is a bad player. It's like that's bad coaching. They're not putting Trey Tucker out there. Like, why are we not playing any of our young rookies? If this is truly a rebuild season, John Jenkins has been the best defensive tackle, which is just crazy to me. But why aren't we trying to get more work out of some of these younger guys? If it was up to me, and this is one of the things that I talked about on my Josh McDaniels replacements video that went out this morning, I want to say, if you want to be able to keep Ziegler, there's options that I put there in that coaching carousel that said, hey, these are coaches that have past relationships with Ziegler if you only want to move on from Josh McDaniels, which I think that's kind of where I would want to be if I'm being 100% honest with y'all. Let's go to John. Mr. McNonuts.
I want to put it in, John, but it's $5 to get in.
$5 super chat to get in the Mick Duck race. Just saying. Lurksery. McLurksy?
Well, he put in this later, so I'm putting this as your name.
Mick can't win a game unless he has Brady or Belichick. And that's, one of the things that people don't talk about enough, where they're like, oh, McDaniels has a system, and I think McDaniels truly believes that his system works. The problem is, you've seen the McDaniels system, the Patriot way. Look at every single Patriot coach that has gone somewhere else that have tried to do exactly what you did in New England, and it hasn't worked. Hell, Bill Belichick doing the Patriot way without Tom Brady hasn't worked. That's a fact. Sean Baker. Mick doesn't win on purpose. Maybe he should start Brian Hoyer to expedite, the next loss and the firing.
Well, you said it right, the way it was spelled.
Expedite, yeah. I thought I did. I don't want them to start Brian Hoyer, man, just from a simple fans pay way too much money to go to games. I don't like my time waste, and I feel like that they're wasting time with Brian Hoyer. Plus, the comments that Davante Adams made.
Honestly?
I'm telling you right now, you can't start Brian Hoyer.
Honestly, if they start Brian Hoyer, I would rather bring in my PS5 and play a Madden game instead of watching the actual game. We won't do that, but I would rather do that if I had to watch Brian Hoyer.
You tune in, it's a Madden simulation instead.
Somebody thinks it's real, they're like, holy shit, he can throw 60 yards off his back foot?
Yes. Toon Lock. Now looking back at those Madden sims where Garoppolo was throwing 60-yard bombs off his back foot.
No way.
If you're doing Madden right now, what's Garoppolo's arm strength?
50.
Honestly, it should be 49 because he can't throw 50 yards. Toon. McDumb and Dumber. Like it. Sit Jimmy. Fire McDumb. Straight up. Horrible football. We deserve better. Max deserves better on defense. Get that guy some help. Max is going to be a player that I feel like I hope this isn't true. I hope that this team does get Max Crosby some help, but I do like a lot of the pieces. I think Marcus Epps is a good young player. I do like what I've seen in the recent weeks from Trevon Merrick. I do think Jacorian Bennett's going to turn out to be a solid player. Robert Spillane's been good. Divine Diablo's been much better. But if you don't win in the trenches up front and your quarterback has all day to throw, guess what? It's not going to be a pretty picture. Let's go to Wild One. Please name my duck DuckTales for all the Josh McDaniels stories. Wild One, we can do that. Though I kind of like McWild One. That one would kill Wild One a little bit inside. McWild One! Adrian Clark Delgado. The nation is McDone with McNumnuts. It's Aidan O'Connell season. And you in. And yeah, I'm on social media. I think a lot of y'all are probably on social media too. I know Twitter is a very smart place. Like Fire McDaniels has been trending. Aidan O'Connell's been trending. To me, Aidan O'Connell right now it just gives me something to believe in. And that's why I want O'Connell to go out there and I want him to play.
Luke, if they fire McDaniels, you should do corn eating contests, just not the long way.
I mean, I said this yesterday on my show. For a long time, I've been talking about a 24-hour straight live stream. When the Raiders finally realize that McDaniels is not the right guy, I will go live here on the Raiders Report for 24 straight hours. You thought Davante Adams' celebration was big? I don't care if I'm the only one here. I don't care. I know for a fact I'm going live for 24 straight hours when they fire Josh McDaniels. I just hope it's, I don't know, not like on my wedding day or a honeymoon or something like that.
Would you still do it?
What? Probably not then, because then I would have lost all that money in the wedding. I've got to find a new fiance. Got to find a new wife. That seems more of a hassle. Imagine I'm on my honeymoon. I don't know where I plan on going. We plan on going. And I'm just doing a McDaniels live show. It's kind of interesting. Alex, we'll talk. Wild One. I meant McClown do something with corn the long way. We know. But it isn't eating it. It's why he's always tight-faced and all the, you knows. He does throw out a lot of you knows. I mean, if there was a science or a class, if Josh McDaniels, because coaching's definitely not his thing, if I was McDaniels, I would become a professor. I'm trying to think of the right way to say it, or like an agent or a job that requires you to be able to talk for an hour straight and not say anything. Something with media.
Rusty says, how long would you go live if Mark Davis sells the team? A month?
Oh, man. I don't know. If Mark Davis sold the team, do I get a bowl cut? That'd be legendary. John, Mr. McDingles, you in. John Rodriguez, you in. Brandon, Mick, reach around, stars, off good, but doesn't change to finish.
Do you want this as your name or the first one?
I know. Brandon's like, just slap them both together and we'll make it happen. Pat Fo Trey, the Gruden, Mayock, McDaniels, Ziggy eras have set us back so long as a franchise. Al would junk punt Markey if he was here. Junk punt. Oh man, I think we do Mick junk punt. I want Mick junk punt.
All right.
Mick junk punt. I don't disagree with you, man. I mean, you look at both of these eras, and it's been a very, very frustrating thing.
Junk punt. All right. We have a bunch of ones that are just like funny.
Yep.
We have some content we got to go to. We have 4 segments today.
4 segments today.
So we're going to try to go a little more rapid fire because I thought we were close, and then we got like 8 more.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just funny names. So we're going to go through them a little bit quicker here so we can get you all to these segments in.
Sounds good. Let's go to Anthony. Shit McSandwich. You in? Are you just copying these?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You're going to get the stars, but Loss McSandals. You know, I think that's kind of clever. Dustin Hill looks like a guy who loses his sandals often. Oh, boy. Raise the gas prices or dinner with McDiabetes. I feel like someone else has said that. Was it you? Was it you, diehard Raiders Report fan? It's a hell of a picture.
I think so, but he's already in a different name. And
I was going to say.
This one is 2, so.
Sounds good. Rebel Montana, I lost my receipt to send McBroken back. It's still defective, and its playbook might be made in China. Rebel Montana.
JT.
If for some reason they fire Josh McDaniels midseason, which they won't, who's your interim? Rob Ryan. Rob Ryan would not be my interim. And the truth is, I don't know if there's a good option. You probably look at your top coordinators first, which is Patrick Graham and Mick Lombardi is probably 2 names. I've also thrown out the name Carmen Brasillo because he's probably the coach on the Raiders that I respect the most. Another name to keep in mind would be Edgar, the wide receiver coach, whose last name right now is just totally escaping me because he's got 33 years of coaching experience. To me, like those are your top 4 interim head coaches that the Raiders probably promote. Daniel Caps Keenan. I know we're saying to fire Josh McDaniels. I do too, but if the next new coach has the same result as McDaniels, we're going to say the same shit. Also fire him. Raider Nation can't win. I think you have to, Mark Davis has to learn that he's got to start to hire the right people to make the correct decisions because that's the biggest problem. The reason why the Raiders have been bad for so long, it's not because all these head coaches, the head coaches might not have been the right hires, but you have to hire the right people. Like, you got to get the right people in there to make those types of decisions.
I'll tell you this right now. Any team that's tried to emulate the Patriots and their way
hasn't worked.
The Texans have been trying for years.
The only person that's really been able to do it is Mike Vrabel. And Mike Vrabel has that linebacker mentality. He's just a hard-nosed hitting dude.
But also, we see with him, and then the Texans now, even though they have the old Patriots GM, they both got head coaches that are former players and extremely smart.
Yeah.
DeMeco Ryans and Mike Vrabel are both extremely smart former players.
Which is why one of the reasons where another coaching candidate that I've thrown out there before, if the Raiders want to keep Ziegler, a coach that I would keep in mind is Gerard Mayo. Gerard Mayo is a guy that I like a lot. So think about it. Aggressive Master Raider, Mick Blue Waffles. I mean, that search term alone when I want to say in middle school, ruined my entire childhood. Set a new record with me and how quick into the season I lose hope. Fire that clown already, Mark. The thing that drives me nuts is it's okay to make mistakes in life. We all agree with that, right? It's okay to make mistakes. But how can you, after deciding to kick the field goal, double down the next day and say, I don't think I would have done anything different? Like, that's the problem with a head coach. Like,
well, it wasn't his fault.
Yep. C2E, Mick, move on from the New England West. And a $20 one.
Let's go.
Which I think you're already in.
Yeah.
Yep. Or no, is that? Oh, Josh McFree us from this misery. All right. Sean Baker, Cake Eater. First time autocorrect does nothing. Expedite. BH, he would be wasted, but the last 20 games haven't been exactly lit. Down with the bloody big head. What's BH? BH would be wasted time.
Brian Hoyer.
Oh, Brian Hoyer. All right. I mean, Hoyer would be wasted time. Like, you know exactly what you have in Hoyer. I think we know exactly what we have in Jimmy Garoppolo, which is why you have to see what exactly you have in Aidan O'Connell because next year's draft class is so talented. Let's go to Funk Master Flesh. McDickless is too arrogant. Let the kid play. I want to see Aidan O'Connell play. I want to see Nesta Jade Silvera play. If your defensive line was playing at such a high level, then sure, you can make the argument of maybe you're not putting out Nesta Jade Silvera, but it's not playing at a high level. Play the rookie Nesta Jade. Hell, I'm starting to get to a point where do I want to see Amari Burney out there in special teams? Do I want to see Chris Smith maybe get some reps here and there? Like, I want to see some of these younger players today. I want to see Trey Tucker touch the ball a little bit more. I want to see Trey Tucker do some pre-snap reads. Where the hell has that been? We heard so much about it during the offseason that we're going to do pre-snap reads.
Trey Tucker touched ball.
That's it. He's only touched ball once. 34 yards. Ronnie Lewis, 5th highest paid offense and the 5th lowest scoring. Fired Josh.
I'm putting you in as Ronnie Lewis.
Ronnie Lewis. Now, I'll admit this. I don't know if these numbers are accurate because I think what you're referring to is a tweet which was sent out before Justin Herbert and before Joe Burrow had their contracts. But the bottom line is McDaniels has one of the highest paid offenses in the National Football League, decided to make the offense the bigger focal point for this offseason, and he still has one of the worst offenses in the league. Like, there's nothing offensive guru about that. There's not. Let's go to Pat Fautrey. I've been a fan since Bojack. I live in Kansas City. I hate the effing Chiefs, and I'm tired of being shitty. Mondays are miserable for me in KC.
What did we say this morning? I've been a Raiders fan.
I've been a Raiders fan. Hey, man, I hear you. I can't imagine being a Raiders fan in Kansas City right now. A few of my really, really good friends down here in Dallas are Chiefs fans, and just being around that alone kind of sucks. Anthony, fire McDingleberry. He's a joke and a disgrace to this team and to the Raiders organization.
So we already have a McDingleberry. So you're going as McDingleberry number 2.
That's perfect. That's literally what a McDingleberry is. Wild one. Mark Davis sells and Raider Moore goes broke celebrating. Hell, I might go broke celebrating. Dylan Erickson, hi everyone. This is serious. McDaniels lost his balls again. Everyone look around. They're about the size of a speck of dust. Yeah, I don't see him. No, still don't see him.
Not there.
No, it's not there either.
Oh!
Adam Martinez!
He's one of the MVPs over on Texans.
What up, Adam?
My guy.
What's up, guys? Keep up the great work. The Billy O'Brien experiment didn't work out well with my Texans
that's
either.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Butthole chin Brian.
The Texans tried so hard to be the Patriots.
Yep, and you look at Matt Patricia, went to the Lions, tried to do it. Didn't work. There's so many examples. Like, that's the crazy part about it. Bill O'Brien is another great example. I'm trying to think of more of recent. McDaniels tried to do it with the Broncos. Didn't work.
I mean,
what?
I was going to say Brian Flores, but that semi-worked out in Miami until him and the owner
Yeah.
like that.
There's a lot of other ones. Vrabel, I don't really consider the same because when it's just been coach to coach and not a player, it hasn't worked. So I do think Vrabel's ability to be able to talk to players like a player goes a long way.
Adam, you're in. If you win, I'll send you a real one t-shirt.
Cool. Mr. Panda Express, fire Josh McBubble Farts. He's ruining our team. How can you lose in the way he has and still have a job?
That's a pretty good one.
What happened to all pre-snap motions? Thank you. 2 tight end sets. Thank you, etc. We were told was going to happen. I mean, is this not the most vanilla offense that you have ever seen? I mean, it is literally like line up.
Aside from the first drive of
hike.
games.
Oh, the first drive of the game is electric.
Dude, I was trying to explain to some of our coworkers. I said, you don't realize how crazy it is to watch a game in the first drive. Your team is looks like they're going to win the Super Bowl. And then past that, they look like the 0-17 Lions.
The Raiders have scored, I want to say, 90% of their points this season in the first quarter.
On the first drive.
Well, they scored on their second drive last week, but I mean, your first 2 drives have probably accumulated 75% of your points. Wild. Josh F-U-C-C boy.
McFook boy.
McFook boy. Raider Rob. Raider Rob. I like it. Raider Rob. I like it. It's clever. It's clever.
Greg Jones, what about B. Young at DT? Byron Young.
My mind right now is so Mick status that I didn't get it. Byron Young's been bad at defensive tackle. And again, he's battling some injuries right now that have been a little bit more undisclosed. And he was battling injuries back in August. And when you're that big of a guy, it kind of reminds me of Bilal Nichols last season, where Bilal Nichols had a torn meniscus and really couldn't get the motor going the way that he needed to until the end of the year, because when you're that big, you got a lower body injury, it takes you a little bit longer to get it going. But right now, I'd say Byron Young, if I'm not considering the injury, Byron Young's probably been the worst defensive tackle on this team, which that's not good. Mitch, did you get mine? Mick can't even get it up, blows corn. I think you've sent in a few very interesting ones, Rich. I remember your first one
was
and I couldn't
Mick
quite.
Small ass.
Yep.
Mick
Small ass corn the long way. Karth Jackson. I love this picture of Karth. You know what it reminds me of?
What's so happy?
What's that really popular old show where the guy's laying down on the couch? You know what I'm talking about? Man. Somebody's got to know what I'm talking about here. He's laying down on the couch. He's basically naked. I think he is naked, actually. I think there's a pillow over him. That's what it reminds me of. What is that? Somebody tell me. What TV show is that? It's not King of the Hill. Is it Seinfeld? Is it? Raider Rob, demote Josh McDaniels to OC. I'd be fine with that. This is the craziest part about it. I don't really think that McDaniels is that bad of an offensive mind. I just don't think he's a good teacher. And it reminds me of anybody we've all been to school, right? And sometimes if you have a teacher that's too smart and they can't teach, they're not a good teacher.
Or they're frustrated. They're like, how do you not get this? I get this. It's
correct.
Okay, well, you're the teacher. You should get this.
Yes.
I don't get this. Your job is to help me get it.
I think I am a good talent evaluator in terms of players and being able to look at guys that the Raiders should draft, this and that. And I think this show, as much as it's grown, is proof of that. And you go back, and the best part about YouTube is you can see a lot of my takes. But I wouldn't have the ability to be able to coach a football team. I don't think I'd have that ability where you got to have that ability to be able to coach the X's and O's. And to me, McDaniels can't do it because I think he's so smart that he can't get it down to the levels of people who are just learning it. He can't do it. Sal, if Al was owner, McPuss wouldn't be allowed in the locker room after that. What's crazy to me is the Raiders live by the mantra of commitment to excellence. And Mark Davis's dad was everything about just win, baby, commitment to excellence. And I think because he got into bed with John Gruden the way that they did and they tried to make a splash play,
Yeah.
that he's going to be super, super like, we'll just see how this works out with McDaniels and Ziegler instead of just pulling the plug.
Yeah.
What up, Danny? Would you be okay with the Raiders keeping Josh McDaniels if he steps down to OC and hire a new head coach? I think it's an interesting thing. I would still want to see who the head coach is going to be, but the problem is it's never going to happen.
Never happen.
If I'm a head coach, I want to bring in my own guys.
You got to think of it in your own terms. If you at your job, your boss came to you and said, hey, I know you're manager right now. Do you think I could just demote you to, lower, and then we'll just give somebody else your job? Are you cool with that? You would never be like, yeah, that sounds good to me.
I mean, I don't think it'd be as much as a McDaniels problem as much as it'd be a new head coach. Like, why would I want to go to a team where I can't bring in my own staff? Like, I'll tell you this right now. When McDaniels is fired, whenever that is, the Raiders will go into a serious rebuild. And what do I mean by that? You're gutting, like if I'm that new head coach, I am gutting that entire coaching staff because there's so many McDaniels, Ziegler guys in that coaching staff. You gut it. Like I'm saying, I want all of it out. Talent evaluators, the scouts, gut it. I don't want it anymore. Like it's going to go through a tough little change, but kind of like what the Houston Texans are doing where they gave D'Amico Ryan 6 years. Like they're like, hey, man, I'm giving you 6 years. It's okay you don't win in the first 2. But that's the way you have to do it.
He kind of brought in his own guys. Like there's a couple of surprising cuts. Desmond King.
Yeah.
He was like, I want my own guys.
Yeah, well, he's got some off-the-field stuff. Bernard Brooks. Mick Bernard Brooks, you in? Sean Baker.
He's in a couple times.
I think so. Sean Baker, Tay got 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, so wasn't the plan. No targets for him next week by Mick Design Fail. I mean, 20 targets, 172, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's as good as it comes. You can't cover him. I just wish, and I really ripped Derek Carr a lot for this last year, and Garoppolo's the same thing. I went back and I watched a lot of the film. Garoppolo is not seeing the field well, which is the only part where I'm like, maybe if they gave Aidan the chance, it would be different. Because I'm telling you, there's routes where Hunter's open, not getting the ball. There's routes where Jacoby's open, not getting the ball. And the reason they're not getting the ball is, in my mind, Garoppolo doesn't have the confidence to be able to put enough zip on it to get to where it needs to go, where a lot of other NFL quarterbacks make that throw because they know that they have the arm strength to be able to do it. Garoppolo doesn't have confidence outside the numbers. Like, balls that should be completed, he's not throwing because he knows deep down he can't do it. That's why the Raiders are turning over the ball as much as they are. Garoppolo stinks. Chev, let O'Connell play and fire this clown of a head coach. Can't expect the players to make chicken salad with McChicken shit.
You're in that McChicken shit.
McChicken shit. It's an interesting analogy, though. McChicken French. No.
Oh, yeah. McChicken French?
McChicken French. What up, Cam? Mitch, thank you for your dedication to the silver and black. Cam, thank you, man. I love your honesty and you're spot on with McDumbo. McDumbo's going to count in starting AOC.
Dude, saying chicken French is like a dog whistle for rolling. I look over and he literally perked his ears up. Chicken French?
I mean, hey, I'm dedicated to doing this because there's 840 people right now that are watching this, and there is 840 people that have been listening to Jeremy and I call McDaniels different Mick names. That's a different level of Mick commitment to excellence. What up, Baydo? What up, boys? Jet lag today. Let's get...
I like the new pick.
Oh, I do.
Yeah! Oh, I need... Perfect.
That's a great one.
I was going to ask you for that pick.
Was that before or after I was asleep? I don't remember. I don't remember much of that night. PG got me way too twisted. I don't know how many shots I did that night, but I'm telling you this right now, when Chugs, the plan is for us to go back out week 10 Sunday Night Football when they play the Jets, so that's still kind of up in the air at this current moment. However, though,
he did tell me
I'm not doing shots next time.
He did tell me if there's a blizzard in North Dakota, he's coming after me.
Are you going to be in North Dakota? I guess he lives there, right?
Yeah.
How close are you to Fargo? I don't remember. How close are you to Fargo? I'm literally flying into North Dakota, Fargo.
Check out the pic that me and Beto had together.
All right, hang on.
I just sent it to you on Slack.
Oh, boy. Hang on a second here. All right, we're okay. So I just saw something pop up with Davante Adams, and I was like, Jesus, here we go. Oh, dude, that's a legendary picture. I don't know who that ghost is in the background, but...
Oh, dude, yeah. That chick was moving.
Dude, that's a... Oh, I remember that belt. I totally remember the belt.
He said he's like 3 hours from Fargo.
Yeah, that's a hell of a drive. Don't do that.
All right, coming up.
All right, we got a few more supers, but we're going to get to the... You want to get to them now, or you want to get them after?
Quick.
All right, quick. Derek, if Jimmy G is out and gives Aidan O'Connell a chance to start, it could actually save McDaniels' job. 100% facts. Imagine he comes in and actually plays well, whether the Raiders start winning or not. I think it saves Josh McDaniels' job. So one of the things that I talked about 2 days ago was McDaniels needs to look at this as if he keeps starting Jimmy Garoppolo, he's not going to have a job. Aidan might be able to save it. Danny, I think Aidan O'Connell will struggle. Josh McDaniels wants them to execute his offense and not work with the talent he has instead. I hope that he doesn't struggle. I mean, I want McDaniels to succeed, which might surprise a lot of people out there, but I do. I want McDaniels to honestly succeed this upcoming season because that means good things for the Las Vegas Raiders. But you have to see what you have in the young kid, especially because of all the talented quarterbacks next year. John Borelli, I bet Jimmy ain't getting that free service anymore.
Nope.
He might be. He might be. He's got money in the bank. Doc, new profile pic. What say you?
It's Mark Davis as a koala.
It's Mark Davis as a koala. That's elite. Christian Jacobs, Christian Jacobs, you in. And then PG for Jets game, pick a bar that has Fireball.
We did not pick the bar.
We did not pick the bar, unfortunately. And Raiders!
We were guests of honor.
We were told where to go. So, and that'll probably happen yet again, week 10, but no shots. I'm telling you right now, I will not do a shot. Oh, boy. Oh! Brandon Jasper Bang! The great tuna! Spam tuna down in the comments.
Locals!
McClown needs to go ASAP. So here's a bang, hoping he's not on the sidelines much longer. If everybody could spam tuna, I'm going to give you guys a shout out here on the Raiders Report. Shout out to PG, Rebel, Chuck, Robert. I got Martin, West Coast 818. What up, Mark? What up, Steven69, Sherry Lynn Collins, John Borelli, Tadashi, Big Island, Ryan Bass, R-Dog, Brandon Martinez, John Fallon, Caesar, Lord Only Dan's, Joseph Martinez, Daytona Gold, SoCal Outlander. Shout out to the great tuna. Chris, McDaniels ain't Jack. He's got no bite to him. McDaniels ain't Jack.
That's your name.
Hey, you in. All right, coming up here on the show. I'll tell you what, we just did an hour straight of Mick nicknames. That's pretty freaking impressive if you ask me. So coming up here live on the show, we got some latest Raiders news. We're going to talk about the latest going on around Jimmy Garoppolo, Chandler Jones, Davante Adams. Then I got 5 burning questions, a Chargers preview, and players who deserve more playing time. Lots and lots of content about to go down here on the Raiders Report. Then at the very, very end of the show, we got a Mick Duck race. So if you send in the $5 super chat and put Mick in front of something, we're going to put that as your name. Christian wants McQueef. Of course he does. That's like the spin-off of that old Disney race car show, Lightning McQueef. That's what I picture. I was going to say, please make that sound. I can't wait to hear it. Vroom. All right, coming up here live on the show, Jimmy Garoppolo news. We got to go. Let's go. Come on. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. And coming up here on today's show, the latest going on around Jimmy Garoppolo. What's the latest Chandler Jones news? And then Davante Adams. Does he one out. Also, huge shout out to today's sponsor, Panda Sups. Make sure that you use code FOCUS for 25% off at pandasups.com. I'm going to put that link for you guys down in the comments and down in the description. All right, let's talk about the latest going on around the Raiders quarterback, or maybe he's not going to be the QB for much longer. We'll see. But this is what's going down with Jimmy G. As it stands right now, Garoppolo is in the concussion protocol. Yes, he was able to finish the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Josh McDaniels confirmed that he was going through the concussion protocol on Monday. However, on Monday Night Countdown on ESPN, Adam Schefter was asked the possibility, the likelihood that he would be able to play Sunday against the Chargers. Adam Schefter said it is very unlikely that he would be able to play against the Chargers. Now, again, he has yet to tweet that, so I'm going to say take what Schefter had to say there with maybe a little bit of a grain of salt, because if it's like a cold, hard fact, he would end up tweeting it out. I've been in situations where you get asked the question, and maybe he goes back and he thinks about it, and he's like, I don't know if that's what I should have said. But what is known is the concussion protocol is, it's unknown, right? You don't know if that player is going to be able to play or not. And if I was a betting man, I would probably say that there's a better chance that Jimmy G is not out there on Sunday rather than he is. So just because Schefter said it is very unlikely that Garoppolo would not play on Sunday, that does not mean that it is actually going to happen. It is giving his opinion, but if Garoppolo is unable to pass the concussion protocol, we know that he can't go out there and he can't play. But let me just say this right now. Even if Jimmy G is cleared to play, it is time to bench number 10, and it is time to you roll with the rookie. You roll with Farva. You roll with the best damn mustache I have ever seen, and it is time to play Aidan O'Connell. Brian Hoyer stinks. Let me say that again. He stinks. Jimmy G's been bad with a full week of practice. So imagine he can't practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're going to roll him out there if he passed the concussion protocol? You better not, because he's been bad with a whole week of preparation. It's time that you put your team in the best situation, which right now is getting the rookie working with the starters Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You better start Aidan O'Connell. So let me know down in the comments right now if you want AOC to be the Raiders' starting quarterback week 4 against the Los Angeles Chargers. You know what to do. Spam AOC. Spam it down in the comments. Hell, I'm doing it on live. I want you to do this if you watch it at a later date. I think we have done a really good job this week of letting our voices be heard as a nation. It's time to continue that thing going. AOC's down in the comments if it's time for Aidan O'Connell. Coming up next here on the Raiders Report is the latest going on around Chandler Jones. And I'm just going to say this. When Chandler Jones stuff happens, I will do my best to cover it. I don't like getting into this kind of stuff because I like talking about football. But when you talk about the Raiders, Chandler Jones is a name that continually gets brought up. So Adam Schefter said, Raiders defensive end Chandler Jones wrote in a social media post Monday night that he was taken to a hospital against my will by the Las Vegas Fire Department and later transferred to a behavioral health facility last week. I'm going to show you the pictures and some of the stuff that he posted on social media, but here's the one thing that I want you guys to know. When Raiders news happens, I'm going to make a video about it. When Raiders content happens, I'm going to make a video about it. And this upcoming week, Jeremy Chuggs and I, we are going to be live. Raiders, Chargers. So if it's Aidan O'Connell out there, we're going to be doing it. If it's Brian Hoyer, guess what? We're going to be here as well. At the end of the day, if you want to be able to watch the game with a whole bunch of Raider fans, we've had over 130,000 people every single week, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to go through this entire thing, and I'm not going to read everything that Chandler Jones wrote. If you want to go ahead and read it, it's on social media. You can see it there. But it's on my social. It's on everywhere. It's essentially out there for Chandler Jones. But he's essentially saying that he was taken to a facility. He's out now. He said that he tried to call Dave Ziegler like 6 or 7 times. No answer. He also goes and says in like another post essentially that they're making up things that he's doing that he's not doing. Let's face the facts here. The whole Chandler Jones situation, it's a confusing one. I don't know all the details. Nobody knows all the details going on right now with Chandler Jones. I hope that he's okay, but I will continue to cover this situation because it does impact the Raiders. He said that he's losing out on about $1 million a week every time he's not out there, which obviously if I was losing that amount of money, I'd be upset too. But you can't enjoy money and you can't enjoy certain things in life if you're not there 100%. So Chandler, I will continue to pray for you. I'll continue to pray for everybody that's involved in this entire situation. Hopefully it gets resolved, man. Let's go to the next thing. Coming up here on the Raiders Report, does Davante Adams want out? I know there's going to be people that watch this right now, and they're going to be like, oh, here we go. We're talking about Davante Adams trade rumors. I'm going to look at every single person in the eyes right now, and I'm going to say I've talked about Davante Adams trade rumors multiple times this offseason. For the first time in a very long time, I'm legitimately worried that Davante Adams might want out. And that's just the way that it is right now. And I'll tell you why I say that. But first, got to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Panda Sups. And Panda Sups has totally changed the game for me, especially, we've been working a lot of hours here at Chat Sports, and I know I'm probably not the only hard worker here that's watching the show. And the product that they have, Nootropics, I'm telling you, it's an absolute game changer. So, it is the most versatile brain fuel product designed for anyone looking to increase their focus, productivity, energy, mood, and vision. Panda Focus can be used as an energy drink replacement, coffee, or to spark a motivation. Panda Focus enables you to unlock your full potential and give you a competitive advantage no matter if you're a student, professional athlete, CEO, gamer, or hell, maybe if you're even a host on a YouTube show. So Raider Nation, use code FOCUS for 25% off at pandasups.com. That link's going to be available for you guys down in the comments, and it's going to be available for y'all down in the description as well. Huge shout out to Panda. They've been a sponsor here for a long time, diehard Raider fan, and I think it's time for the Raiders to focus this week on the Chargers. Coming up next here again, does Davante Adams want out? And one of the things that I love about Tay, and this is, you got to call a spade, right? Like, I've sat up here on this show and I said, Davante's never getting traded. He's never getting traded. But Davante, this entire offseason, since he's been a Raider, he has told you exactly what he feels. We agree with that, right? And he did an exactly same thing after that Sunday Night Football loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is exactly what he said. It is not my mentality to sit here and try to take all season and figure it out. You use these early games like this to establish an identity. We're not doing things the right way to establish a winning culture. We've got to go out there and do it. That's the theme of this year, doing it. Not just talking about it and figuring out what we need to do. We did all that last year. This year, we got to be about it. You look at all these analytics and all these things. Teams have won with the turnover battle and all these things. It doesn't mean shit until you go out there and you play ball. We're having a tough time consistently doing that right now, and I don't want to act like it's all crazy. It's week 3, but I don't got time to wait around. That last line right there, and Davante straight up being real with you, and he doesn't have time to wait around. He's 30 years old. He's nearing the end of his year. He's still playing at a very high level, and he knows that. But he also knows that he's not going to be able to sit around and just wait around for this Raiders team to be able to figure it out, and he's also got to realize we're not only bad right now, the last 2 games, the Raiders have been a dumpster fire on offense. And sure, he wants to make money, and he can make a lot of money at the end of his deal. But I don't think that the Raiders want to trade Davante Adams. But if Davante Adams says, get me the hell out of here, now you got a whole other type of situation. And judging by those comments, I know Josh McDaniels was worried about it. So if you don't know all the ins and outs around Davante's contract, here's everything to know. Per Spotrac, Davante Adams' 2024 salary, it became fully guaranteed on March 17th this past year. So yes, the Raiders are paying Davante this year, and they have already paid him for next season. So trading Adams away means Las Vegas essentially would throw out the $7.8 million this year, and then the $16.9 million in 2024. So essentially, to trade away Davante Adams, the Raiders would eat $24.7 million. This is why I don't think the Raiders actually try to trade Davante unless he asks for a trade. Now, his contract has been switched once already. They had a contract restructure because originally he signed a 5-year, $140 million contract in 2022, which that number still stays the same. But because of the contract restructure, the Raiders do have a potential out in 2025, and it's a $15.7 million dead cap hit. And Adams' cap hit in 2025 is $44.1 million. Like, that's everything that there is to know around Adams. But here's the thing. If the Raiders are struggling offensively and if the Raiders continually are not doing the right things this season, you're not going to pay a receiver $44.1 million 2025 and 2026. So if he does one out, the Raiders are going to have to eat some money. But, man, you better get something in return for him because I'll tell you this right now. If this guy demands out, I think Raider Nation might explode. And Josh McDaniels might be in a whole other trouble. If Adams asks out, I actually think that the nation might boycott going to some games. So will Davante Adams get traded this season? I want you to type Y for yes, or I want you to type your N for no. I will still confidently sit up here and say that Adams will not get traded this season because I don't think that the Raiders are going to just end up doing it. And I don't really see Davante being that type of person to say, trade me or I'm not playing. But I do think that the only way he is traded is if he demands one. And if Davante ends up demanding a trade, then I'll tell you all right now, I don't blame him. Because to me, the only way Davante Adams demands a trade is if the Raiders are that much of a dumpster fire. They are that poorly ran of an organization. And for a player like Davante to ask to get the hell out of there, that should scream to Mark Davis louder than anything that you could have possibly done to say McDaniels is not the right guy for the job. If we do sit up here at one point, and I got to say that Davante Adams got traded, I'll tell you right now, you better get 2 first-round picks for him. The way that he's playing at this high level, plus you got to eat $24.7 million, you better get 2 first-round picks, or you better get a first-round pick, and you better get a superstar to match it, because you can't just expect Raider fans to pay the ticket price that they're paying, to pay the flights that they're paying, to pay the hotel price that they're paying, and you're going to trade away your best offensive weapon that this team has had in a very long time. Raider fans were upset about Khalil Mack getting traded. I think Raider fans were a little bit upset about Amari Cooper. You're going to be a lot more upset if you trade this guy right here. And Mark Davis needs to understand that. You trade away him, you might as well fire Josh McDaniels because people will not go to any games if that happens. All right, let's go to give some shout-outs here. What do y'all think? We got 1,000 people in the building. Will Davante Adams get traded this season? Give me a yes, give me a no. Chugs, can you give some shout-outs here while I switch my jersey real quick? Yep. And remember, just because I'm switching my jersey, I'm not drinking unless somebody makes me hit that gong. Just so you know.
All right, let me know. Do you think Davante Adams gets traded? Y for yes, N for no. That would be a worst-case scenario if that happens. You have the best receiver in football. And people saying no, hell no. I don't think he gets traded either. But if you're the best player at your position and your team has no shot to make the playoffs midway through the season, what would you do? What would you do? If you were outperforming everybody at your company, if your company was losing money each week, but you were making this company tons of money, if you were like the top seller, if you were the guy doing everything for the company and the company stunk, what would you do? I always try to think of it in terms, because, Mitch, I can't think of it as a football player because obviously I'm not a football player. I always try to think of it in the real world, my job, because that's what this is for Davante Adams. This is a job. This is his job.
It's his job, but he also has got to understand that it's near the end, right? I mean, yeah, if Adams wants to play for another, I'm not kidding you, I think if Adams wanted to play for another 8 years, he probably could. Like, he reminds me of the receiver. It's like a Jerry Rice. I could play, late 30s, a Larry Fitzgerald. Like, they have enough talent to do it. But does Davante want to play at that level for that long? That question still remains to be seen. But I agree with you. I mean, he knows that right now his window is now. His window is right now. And if he doesn't take advantage of that window, that's where we might get into a little bit of a difficult situation. Let's go to Derek. What up, man? Mick Smuggies?
I think he meant to say Mick Smeagol.
Mick Smeagol.
Like the Lord of the Rings.
Schmeagol. Danny Fan. You know what, Danny? I'm glad that you took my advice. I mean, it's still a terrible logo. If anything, I think you're just trying to add a shield because this is the Raiders report, and deep down, you're a Raiders fan. So,
Low-key.
Low-key.
He's a closet
You know it.
Raiders fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Savage. Big rumor here from Vegas. AOC will be playing on Sunday.
I think he's watching our titles.
I think so.
Big rumor.
I like it. Major Aidan O'Connell news. I hope so, man. I really do. Mick Savage, you in. Sean.
I thought you were already in, Sean.
He might be. Mick Biden. Pretty self-explanatory.
Nice.
I know who you voted for now. Aidan, what's up, man?
I can say this. Sean, huge AOC fan.
Oh, dude. Aidan Woods.
Sean's got the AOC jersey.
Oh, you know it. I'll tell if Aidan. So here's the thing I was gonna ask y'all. If O'Connell ends up starting on Sunday, I have an O'Connell jersey back there. I think I gotta wear it.
I think you have to.
If O'Connell starts on Sunday, I'll make you guys a deal right now. If O'Connell starts on Sunday,
Get the tape.
I'm rocking that jersey, and the beard's getting removed. You gotta go stash. You should do it too. Full buy-in. He's like, I don't like it. I'll go full buy-in. If O'Connell's the guy, I'll rock a stash. If they win, that shit's staying. That shit is staying. It's gotta stay. Big Island, you all right with that? Little mustache? I think it sounds good. Aidan, if Tay gets traded, I'm gonna get so much hate just because I have a fan page. I know fan page is actually pretty popular. That's why I said I'm kind of upset that I knew you watched the show for a while, but see, everything is how you spin it, right? Everything is how you discuss the topic. No matter what, haters are gonna hate, right? People only hate on you because they're jealous at the end of the day. At least that's what I think.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Most of the time. I mean, I would say for the majority, people who are very happy with their own lives,
they hate us.
They don't go out and hate on other
ain't
people.
Us.
I think it's a fact. If you're happy and content with your own life, you don't go out and hate on other people.
You know that movie?
What?
They hate us because they ain't us.
Remember the Titans.
No.
I don't know.
It's that one with James Franco and Seth Rogen where they go to North Korea.
I know exactly what movie you're talking about.
I can't think of the name.
I have no idea what the name is.
What's the name? Let me know in the comment section. What's the name?
I have no idea.
The Interview. Yes.
The Interview. Dude, imagine
they hate us because they ain't us.
The part of that movie where they put that it's like a poison strip on his hand, and they're like, if you touch anything, like you're gonna kill. He's just like, can you imagine how nerve-wracking that would be? No, I can't. I can't imagine. I literally can't. All right, y'all. Brandon Jasper, if that happens, I'll stash up C. I mean, Brandon's got an elite stash.
Renee, they're just peanut butter and jealous. Great
Renee,
movie.
That's a good one.
Great movie.
I like it.
You've never seen The Interview with James Franco and Seth Rogen? They go to North Korea.
It's an interesting movie to say the least.
They go to North Korea.
It's worth watching, but you only need to see it once. Like, it's never going to be a movie where someone's like, yo, come over and let's watch The Interview again. I'm okay. I've seen it.
Same, but different.
M. Trader, if McDipshit wants to keep his job, it's time to start Aidan O'Connell. Why is Chandler Jones still on the roster? Open his spot for some DT help, Raiders. So his spot is open, actually, because they put him on the NFI list. He's out for at least 4 games, now only 3. They did it last week. So as long as he is on the NFI list, the Raiders do not have to pay his base salary, which, if you remember, the Raiders restructured Chandler Jones' contract, so his base salary is only like the vet minimum, basically.
Elijah, that part is hilarious. He said, I've been leaving a breadcrumb trail the whole time.
I don't know the movie well enough.
The very beginning, Eminem says that he's gay. And he's like, I've been leaving a breadcrumb of trails the whole time.
I don't remember. I remember some parts of that movie. I guess not enough. But I agree. I think the easiest way right now McDaniels can keep his job is to roll with Aidan O'Connell. And there's a part of me that wonders, like, if you want to If you like conspiracy theories, I wonder if the whole Jimmy Garoppolo concussion, I'm not saying this is the case, so let's just not even go there. But a conspiracy theory is Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't actually have a concussion. They just want to start Aidan O'Connell, and they knew that if they benched Jimmy G, there would be an uproar, and they wanted to go with Aidan the entire time. And if Aidan goes out there and he plays well, then he can just keep the job. That's a conspiracy theory. Let's go to Ludwig. AOC takes over. I never believed in Jimmy. The Niners benched him for a reason. McDaniels made Jacobs the Russian king. We need a deep threat. We need a quarterback that can just throw a football.
Doza, I have like 9 Raiders jerseys.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't wear my jersey on, if you can see in our photos, Mitch has a mic on his face.
Yep.
My mic is a clip. So I need to clip it onto something. So it's harder for me to do a shirt than a polo.
I'll say this, Doza. I bet you Chugs has more Raiders jerseys in our closet here than you do at your home.
Show me yours and I'll show you mine.
And if you guys really want to be impressed, I'll show you mine. Because I think I might have the most Raiders jerseys in the entire world right now. I think so.
Yours is so big.
Oh, dude, it's a lot darker than what I imagined. it's a lot darker. It's not going to crack either, I can tell you that. All right, y'all, next segment coming up here on the show is going to be 5 burning questions that I have that I believe the nation has going into the Week 4 matchup up against the Los Angeles Chargers.
This next one is, we have a special announcement this next one. Or I guess y'all did it yesterday.
Yeah, we did it yesterday.
If you didn't watch yesterday, a special announcement.
Diesel said I got over 200 jerseys.
I don't believe you.
200 jerseys?
I don't believe you. Diesel, send in a pic.
I'd say this. I'd say
200 jerseys?
I got to have at least 65.
If you're buying it from the Raider Image Store, or if you're buying it from the NFL shop, that's what, $150 a jersey?
Well, it depends what kind of jersey I guess you're getting. I don't.
$125 to be conservative.
I mean, maybe he has 200 jerseys. I don't know.
That means you spent $25,000 on jerseys.
I mean,
if you have 200 jerseys at a conservative $125, that's not even with tax. You spent $25,000 on jerseys.
I mean, some people got it. I don't know. Some people got it. Some people don't. I don't know. I know that I got a lot of jerseys, but I've only paid for a few of mine, so I can't really say much, but just saying. All right, we got a few more super chats.
John says, big money. Diesel, I got the hookup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from China.
I mean, maybe. Sometimes the quality of a jersey, as long as you got a jersey and you're repping. Diesel, I'll take your word for it. Chugs ain't buying it.
No, they were. I know I'm not that old.
What?
But I don't remember. Robert's like, jerseys used to be $20.
I mean, maybe in like the
70s.
The back in the day. I mean, a jersey back then, I just picture a long T-shirt with a number on it.
I feel like whenever I was a kid, jerseys were still at least like $90.
I remember the first jersey I ever had was a Brett Favre jersey.
I was about to say 200 jerseys. You might have some Charles Watson jerseys.
Dude, yeah, I'd be
Rich Gannon.
Jose, first time here. Love the show. Fire McDumbass. Jose, welcome to the show, man. How about this? Everybody welcome in Jose. First time watcher. First time super chatter. Shout out to Jose. Jose, if you don't know, man, this is the #1 most watched Raiders channel in the world, but we are family first, and don't get me wrong, we party, we have a good time, but anytime that you're here at this show, we're going to make sure that y'all have a good time. That's a fact.
Jack.
Derek, replace the word Dan in McDaniels with the word smug, because Jay McDaniels is smug. Now, rhyme it with McDaniels.
McSmuggles.
McSmuggles. They hate us because they ain't us. They hate us because they anus. Yikes. There's a lot going on there. I'm not going to lie to you.
All right.
All right, it's time to get into my 5 burning questions going in to week 4. Chugs, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you guys ready? I hope. We still got 3 more segments to go here live on the Raiders Report. Then a duck race at the or a McDuck race,
And
excuse me.
I will say, we're getting close. Only the first 100 people that send in a 5 are going to get in.
Wow.
Because we only have the beta version of the duck race. What? Maybe if we get some Venmos, we can buy the larger version. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
We did buy chips today, so
That's
there's
true.
that.
But we did go pick up lunch and saved the $50.
Yeah?
It's also true.
Can we use that on the duck app?
People are talking. I also have a hangnail, and this is hurting. All right, burning questions coming up here on the show. If you haven't already, click that like button. If you don't, Brandon Jasper is going to come find you. And I'm telling y'all right now, that is something that you don't want, I don't want, and I'm telling you again, you probably don't want that. Coming up, 5 burning questions right now here on the Raiders Report.
Oh, yeah!
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. It's Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, 5 burning Raiders questions entering their Week 4 game against the Los Angeles Chargers. What I like to think of is this: the top 5 trending questions. The questions that I guarantee you, once I say, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I was definitely wondering that. So the first burning question that I have is Jimmy Garoppolo. Is he going to end up playing this game on Sunday? Right now, as it stands, he is in the concussion protocol. And on Monday, Adam Schefter was on ESPN Monday Night Football and said that it's very unlikely that Jimmy Garoppolo plays on Sunday. I do think that he was just kind of talking. He wasn't really reporting, giving his opinion. Once more news around this whole thing comes out, that's something to consider. But if I'm Josh McDaniels and I consider the fact of how bad Jimmy G has been, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions this season, and if he doesn't practice the entire week, I mean, we've seen what he's looked like when he's practiced Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and now he's not going to be able to go out there and practice the entire week. That's going to make me a little bit concerned. On top of that, it's not like Jimmy G's been playing well. Right now, he leads the NFL with 6 interceptions. He's been only sacked 4 times. In comparison, Sam Howell has 5 interceptions, and he's been sacked 19 times. As it stands right now, here's Garoppolo's pace. Some of y'all might look at this and say, well, hey, Mitch, he's on pace for a career-high 28 touchdowns, and I'd say you're damn right. Let it sling. The other problem, though, he's also on pace for 34 interceptions. I'm okay with them benching Jimmy Garoppolo based on play alone. And now you add the fact that he's in the concussion protocol. I'm telling y'all right now, it is time to put number 10 on the bench. But this show isn't about me. It's not about Chugs, especially when he's yelling crazy stuff before I start a show. It's about the nation. It's about giving you guys a voice. So take a second. Take 5 seconds. Go down to the comment section right now and type S for start. Type B for bench. It's going to be the pinned comment on today's show, which means you're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, take the time, let the ad play. Believe it or not, helps me out a lot. And do you want Jimmy Garoppolo to play this week against the Chargers? Start or bench? Let me know right now. My take is this, and I can remember my mom always saying this because I love my mom, but she never liked when I swore when I was a kid. H-E double hockey sticks, no. He's been bad. He's no longer this quarterback that I think a lot of people thought he was going to be. His arm talent is arguably the worst arm talent in the league. When you consider the fact that Brian Hoyer throws fastballs compared to Jimmy Garoppolo, he's not seeing the field well. He doesn't have the confidence to make all the throws. This is a team that needs a change, and they need to put Jimmy Garoppolo on the bench, which then brings me to my next question. Will Josh McDaniels be smart enough? As soon as I say that out loud, I just laugh because saying that makes me think, oh, they're going to roll out freaking Brian Hoyer, or even worse, Chase Garbage or something like that. But will Josh McDaniels be smart enough to start Aidan O'Connell over Brian Hoyer? That's the second question here. And we'll dive into this a little bit more, but man, I'll tell you what, every time we get a new sponsor, if y'all don't give yourself a round of applause, you need to do so, because every time we get a new sponsor here, it's because the nation is always showing out. And anytime I get a new sponsor, I want to be able to give you guys the awesome deals that come along with it. And Prize Picks is an absolute game changer. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. And if you haven't heard about them, well, listen up. Prize Picks is the most fun I have had, winning up to 25 times my money this football season. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of player stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So what I figured I would end up doing here is show y'all my picks for the week. And for the entire season, I'm doing picks that matter to Raider Nation. So for Justin Herbert, the passing yards, 284.5. I'm a realist here. I'm going more. I believe he's going to have more passing yards than 284.5. Darren Waller, the other part about fantasy, you got to make it fun. Darren Waller, I'm going less every single time. Josh Jacobs, he has yet to score a single touchdown. He's finding pay dirt, and you can find pay dirt too with our awesome sponsor here, Prize Picks. So all you got to do, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I've been playing Prize Picks recently, and honestly, man, I have no idea why I waited so long. So nation, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. We're going to put that link for you guys down in the comments and in the description of today's video. Let's go to question number 2 here in my burning questions again. Is Josh McDaniels going to be smart enough to start Aidan O'Connell over Brian Hoyer? Man, I really, really, really hope so. And what I really hope is McDaniels realizes if he wants to save his job, somebody get this man a gosh darn liter of cola. But the reason why it's even a question is because McDaniels always overcomplicates it, doesn't he? And Brian Hoyer has been the quarterback too. And Aidan O'Connell has been the, not quite healthy scratch, but the emergency quarterback. So when Jimmy G goes down in the regular season game right now, it would be Brian Hoyer. And back in week 1, when Jimmy Garoppolo got knocked out for just 2 plays, it was Brian Hoyer and it wasn't Aidan O'Connell. But anybody that has an ounce of a brain watches Brian Hoyer play and goes, yeah, this guy's not good enough to play in the NFL. But I get it, why he's on the team. He's that player coach. Well, now you actually need to go out there and win a game against the Los Angeles Chargers. And you just heard your star wide receiver, Davante Adams, kind of lay into you a little bit. Are you going to tick off Tay? If you want to tick off Tay, you play Brian Hoyer. If you want to make the nation happy and save your job, you go with Aidan O'Connell. That's a cold, hard fact. Now, this is what McDaniels had to say on starting Aidan on Monday. I think we'll try to do the right thing for the team this week for sure. No matter what it is and whatever that ultimately ends up being, we're not going to use this like it would be a preseason game. So if the best thing for the team would be to do something down that road, then we would discuss that and consider it. I'll tell you what, man. Josh McDaniels is the greatest all time at saying absolutely nothing when he talks. It's really quite impressive. But let me just say this, McDaniels, if you're not going to say it, you better start Aidan O'Connell, or else it's going to be an uproar, because if you don't, you're going to piss off Mark Davis, because it's going to impact his pockets, I can promise you that. So if you want the Raiders to start Aidan O'Connell this week up against the Chargers, click that like button. I know we can't always do super chats, but there are certain ways that y'all can show love to this show, and there's other ways that you can say, Mitch, I appreciate what you do. Chugs, I appreciate the time and effort you guys put in. I want Aidan O'Connell, and for my mental well-being, I need him to start on Sunday. And if you're with me, click that like button. Let's go to the third question. Are the Raiders trying to tank, or are they trying to win football games this season? You can answer this question. There's a lot of questions that we do that you're not really going to know the answer to, probably until that game actually starts. The moment we find out, and I mean the moment we find out who's going to be the Raiders starting quarterback on Sunday, this answer, you're going to have it. I said this on Twitter, and if you don't follow me on Twitter, please hit me up At Mitchell Renz 365. I post a lot of stuff over there. Keep you guys up to date. If the Raiders decide to start Brian Hoyer over Aidan O'Connell, if Jimmy Garoppolo can't play, then I will finally admit that Josh McDaniels is trying to tank. I am somebody who does not believe in tanking. I get that sometimes people want a certain quarterback and it can, go to success down the road. But I'm telling y'all right now, when guys are making millions of dollars, when fans are spending all this money to go watch their favorite teams, when there's the travel, the time, there's so much that goes into it. The thought of tanking should not be allowed. And I can't sit up here and say that I think that somebody's doing that because it just goes against everything that I believe in. It goes against everything that everybody should believe in. But if they play Brian Hoyer over Aidan O'Connell, the fix is in. And Josh should be fired immediately. Let's go to question number 4 that I have entering this week. Will Josh Jacobs get going with a different quarterback? Like, last season, Jacobs had the best year of his career. He was the leading rusher, 1,653 yards, led the NFL in total yards with 2,053. He had Derek Carr as the quarterback, but he also had Josh McDaniels as the head coach / guy calling the plays. Well, now you bring in a brand new quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, and teams are stacking the box because nobody thinks that Garoppolo can throw a ball 50 yards. And I don't know if he can either. And because that Jimmy G's offense has to be so simple because of his lack of arm talent, it is hurting Josh Jacobs. Now, is Jacobs taking a step back? Yes. Does he look the way that he did last year? No, not quite. But when you're going up against 8 and 9-man boxes, you're going to lose a lot of the times. It's why he's got only 45 carries, 108 yards, and 2.4 yards per carry, no touchdowns. But if you remember, I told you with Prize Picks, he's going to find the end zone this week. I don't know if it's going to be a receiving touchdown, considering the fact that he's never had one in his career. But the Raiders need to realize that putting in Aidan O'Connell is going to open up everything. Because people have to respect O'Connell's arm a lot more than what they respect Garoppolo's. And the way that Josh McDaniels' offense is successful is first, honestly, when you establish a running game. So predict it for me. Give me a Y for yes, or you can type those N's for no. Will Josh Jacobs find the end zone this week? I know if he does, I look pretty good up here saying that Jacobs is going to find the end zone. Shout out to Prize Picks, but he better. For my sanity, I need Josh Jacobs to find the end zone here because you got to get this running game going. The running game right now is, oh, man, that's hard to look at. I'm sorry for putting that up on screen. If you're under the age of 18, I should have put a warning up because that's gross. I mean, that's like somebody tells you to look up something, and you're like, I know what it is, but I don't want to really look that up. The Raiders right now are ranked dead last in the National Football League at 61.7 rushing yards per game. And that's with Trey Tucker, a wide receiver, running the ball one time for 34 yards. Imagine if that doesn't happen. You're in the 50s. Yikes. No good. No bueno. We got one more main question, and some of you are probably like, Mitch, I got a question for you. Are you going to be live for when the Raiders and Chargers play? Hell yeah, I am. I'm going to be live. I'm going to be live every single game. We're going to be rocking with the nation, and we're going to get that party started at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. I have a wedding on Friday that it's going to be in North Dakota, so if anybody's near Fargo, I'll be up in your neck of the woods this weekend. But Jeremy Chuggs and what? I guess. Jeremy Chuggs and Nick Roloff are going to be holding it down on Thursday when the Lions and Packers play on our Thursday night football show. We're going to still do our thing, and I'm always going to be live on Mondays. I'm always going to be live Tuesdays, and I had to make a new rule because y'all are always trying to just get me wild on the show, and I gotta pace myself. The only way that I'm drinking on Mondays and Tuesdays is if somebody makes me hit that gong. So if you think just because I'm wearing your jersey, unless you make me hit that gong, it's the only way that we're getting the party rocking and rolling on Monday and Tuesday, or else I don't think I'd be able to make it. Correct. There we go. Live Thursday, Jeremy Chuggs and Nick Roloff. Live Sunday, me and Chuggs, when the Raiders hopefully take down the Chargers. Suck it, fam. Let's go to question number 5. Will Josh McDaniels and Hunter Renfrow, or will Josh McDaniels use Hunter Renfrow? Will he use Trey Tucker? Will he use Nesta Jade Silvera? These are 3 players that I want to see be utilized more this upcoming week. Renfrow's been targeted 3 times for 40 yards. 3 catches. Let's get him the ball a little bit more. Like, you can't justify paying a receiver that much money and then not use him. Plus, I know that Hunter Renfrow can be a reliable guy, and if you're going to have a guy like Aidan O'Connell, get him the ball. Figure out a way to get him involved. Trey Tucker brings a lot of speed. He touched the ball one time, and it went 34 yards. Haven't seen him really since. I want pre-snap motion with Trey Tucker. And then next to Jade Silvera. Why are we not using him? If the defensive tackle room was legit, I'm okay saying, you know what, Josh? You don't need to pay Nesta Jade. It's not, though. It's one of our biggest weaknesses. If not, I'd say right now, quarterback's our biggest weakness. But defensive tackle is right up there on the defensive side of the football for the biggest weakness. Play your rookies. Get them some experience instead of playing these old men that aren't going to be on the team next season. Play your young guys. Get them some experience. So one more time here, my 5 burning questions going into this game up against the Chargers, and we can roll through these a little bit quicker here. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, you can always let me know down below. You can always hit me up on social media at Mitchell Renz 365. But just because these are my questions, I know this, that y'all are going to be sitting there going, well, wait, I have another question as well. And if you have a burning question that's just festering inside of you, I get it. When we go live on Mondays and Tuesdays after a loss, it's event session. I need it just as bad as y'all. So if you watch that video and you're like, Mitch, I got a burning question for you, put it down below. Put a fire emoji next to it. That way I see it once I'm scrolling through. Though, depends when I'm scrolling. I'm going to be, like I said, wedding mindset this entire weekend. So you might get some interesting answers out there. Either way, appreciate y'all making it to the very, very end of this video. You're so weird. You should do that off screen. Will Josh Jacobs find...
I did do it off screen.
Oh, on screen, yep. Will Josh Jacobs find the end zone this week? Yes or no? Why don't you give some shout-outs? And I'm going to change my jersey here real quick. Will Jacobs find the end zone this week? Yes or no? What do you think, Chugs?
Yeah. No, close. So I promised Raider Nation that if Josh Jacobs didn't get me over 10 points this week, that I was going to drop him from my fantasy team. Because I'm 3-0, not to brag, my fantasy team doing very well. The team name is called Franchise Tag because my first 2 picks, Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley. I said, if he doesn't get me more than 10 points this week, I'm cutting him. He got me 11. He got me 11. So, Josh Jacobs, you're safe. And, yeah, my fantasy team lives on 3-0. Not a big deal, but I'm looking pretty good. I drafted in the 7th spot out of 10. Just saying, looking pretty good. Pretty good. Sean PM says yes. Juan Hernandez says yes. Jared 805er says yes. Keani says yes. Alex says yes. Rebel Montana. He just sends the fire emoji, so I'm guessing that's a yes. Brian Schaefer says yes. Big Island, nice.
Very nice, very nice. Danny Fan says yes. See, I knew it. Closet Raider fan.
Dude, he's a huge Raiders fan.
You know it. It's okay, Danny. It's fine, man. Skis, what up, Duke? What up, Lackey? Robert Jansen. Shout out to every single person in the building. In fact, we got 850 people here right now rocking with us. Can we get to 600 likes?
Can we?
I think we can. I believe in the nation, man. I believe in the nation. We got the greatest fans out there. That's why I always say Raider Nation deserves better.
I don't know how James does this.
What?
I got a brand new phone this past weekend.
Oh.
Haven't gotten
the case yet? Oh, that's scary.
I'm terrified.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I one day shipped it, so it should be coming in today. James rocks, our boss rocks it, no case on his phone. That's mental.
I mean, there's an analogy there. It's like when you don't wear a case and something else can happen. I mean, luckily for you, though, you're not going to get little iPhones, but that's how I feel.
Dude.
No case in it, scary. Now, Brett can walk around with no case. He's good.
Yeah, Brett doesn't have to worry about putting on a case.
You don't have to worry about that.
Brett's just rocking it no case at all.
It's impressive. That's probably the part of Reetma that Reetma wants on his Perfect Chat Sports employee.
Mm-hmm.
No case Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree.
Facts.
I agree. All right, coming up here next on the show.
Brett's finally in here. We got to ask him what we got to do to buy the $50 duck.
How about this? Ask Brett off air. You and Rolly make a deal on Thursday. And if the nation gets to that deal, we'll get it.
PG, do you have insurance? Yes, I do have insurance, but who wants to go through that? Who wants to have to go? I already spent 2 hours at the AT&T store this past weekend.
Yeah.
Who wants to do that?
It's kind of like, you get a brand new car. I hope you have car insurance. Like, I remember the first time when I got my new car, last year? I was so afraid to drive because I'm like, now, let's whip that.
Well, I'm from Houston. Nobody has car insurance there.
Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
It's true.
I don't know if you're kidding or not.
Dude, very few people in Houston have car insurance.
Really?
No, not very few.
This is all Chugs is telling y'all right now. He doesn't have car insurance.
Most people in Houston have car insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I have USAA.
Oh, yeah?
I have family in the military, so I'm able to get that USAA insurance.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's helped me get out of a couple tickets.
Really?
They see USAA, and they're like, go on. I'm not even kidding.
Wow. I've only been pulled over once.
Ben Toller, let's talk football. All right. Literally look on the screen, Ben. We've been live for an hour and 45 minutes. We've been talking football this whole time. Where have you been, Ben? Where have you been?
Where have you been? I'll say this. We haven't been talking football the first hour.
Yeah. Technically, we were talking about McDaniels.
I guess. All right. Let's make Ben happy here. Let's talk football.
Yeah.
Laces. Pigskin.
If we're not talking balls, Ben doesn't want to be a part of it. He only wants that balls talk. We got you, Ben.
If you can put your balls near your feet.
Ben wants all the balls talk.
Dude.
Give him
Ben, if you
balls
want, I can
talk.
we got a football in the back. I can put it near my feet if you want.
Balls talk 24/7. Ben wants it all. Balls. Give it to him, Ben.
Oh, man. Well, on the other side, we're going to get into a preview here and some keys to victory against the Chargers. Mitch is also young. I'm not that young. Jeremy's younger than I am. How old do you think I am? I don't know. Coming up here on the show, a Week 4 matchup preview.
Did you say I'm older than you are?
I said you're younger than me.
Yeah.
Somebody called me young, so if I'm young.
Martin, you're right. It's not even a Manscaped show.
That's true. Shout out to them, though. All right, shout out to Jose Delgado. Let's get into this Week 4.
Ben just tuned off. We went from 775 to 774.
Yeah, Ben's like, I can't handle this anymore. He's like, I can't do it. Ben, if you're still here, type me down below. Tell me. Let me see. If Ben's here, we'll keep it going. If Ben's not here, then we got to leave. Let's see if Ben's here. Oh, my dad's here. Oh, boy. We just found out my dad's burner account is Ben. We just figured it out, man. We just figured it out. All right, Alan Cruz is here, which means we can continue.
Okay, cool.
As long as Alan's here, we can keep this show rolling.
That was a close call.
All right, coming up for the fourth time. Everyone say hi to my dad if you want. A Week 4 matchup preview with some keys to victory. Raider Nation, it's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and you're watching our Week 4 matchup preview against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Raiders' first home game, essentially, of this season. You got a 1-2 team going up against a 1-2 team in AFC West showdown. Now, this is going to be a electric watch party. When I go back and I think of every watch party that I've ever done, I have a top 10 list. 3 out of my top 10 watch parties that we've ever done involve the Chargers. So here's the thing. This Sunday, I need you to set a calendar reminder. I need you to put something. Tell Siri, hey, Siri, set a reminder for 3 p.m. Eastern time to watch the Raiders Report. I need you here. I need you rocking with Jeremy Chugs and I because we're going to be taking down the Chargers, and I need every single person here from Raider Nation rocking with us. So what we're going to end up doing here on today's show is this. We're going to be giving you the keys to victory on the offense and defensive side. But one of the things that we have to talk about with this is Jimmy Garoppolo. And as it stands, he is in the concussion protocol. Now, we might get new information depending on when this video does end up getting released. But at the time that I am recording this, when we are live, Jimmy Garoppolo is in the concussion protocol. And I am going to say right now that I have a gut feeling he's not going to pass the concussion protocol. Adam Schefter said on Monday Night Football he thinks it's very unlikely that Jimmy G plays. So here's the thing. The first key to victory for Josh McDaniels in the silver and black, you start Aidan O'Connell no matter what this week. If Jimmy G passes the concussion protocol, I don't think he passes it by Wednesday. And if he can't practice a full week, I don't want him out there because he's been bad when he has practiced a full week. I don't want to see Brian Hoyer out there. So your first key to victory, you put out AOC. You put number 4. You put the rookie in. Give your fan base something to have some faith about. I want to see Aidan O'Connell. Now, let's get into some other keys here. The first thing that I want to see is I want to see some deep shots. I've been begging for this Raiders offense to take some deep shots down the field. And I think one of the reasons why the box is getting stuffed, giggity, is because they know that Jimmy Garoppolo can't throw the ball down the field. And when you're going 9 against 5, 8 against 5, it's going to be a losing recipe. Even if you don't complete those deep passes, you have to inspire fear in your defensive opponent. And if they just think that you're never going to do it, it makes their job easier because they're literally taking away half the field. The reason why scoring in the red zone is so difficult in the NFL is because you take away part of the field. Every part of the field right now with the Raiders and Jimmy Garoppolo is the red zone because nothing happens over 20 yards. Take a few deep shots. Inspire some fear. The next thing that I want to see on the offensive side of the football is more pre-snap motion. If there is one thing that drives me nuts that McDaniels does sometimes is he talks so much, right? Talks so much, never gets anything anywhere. But what happened to all this pre-snap motion? What happened to we're going to use our athletes before we end up calling hike? Like, I want to see Trey Tucker running sideline to sideline, even if he's not involved in the play. I want to see DeAndre Carter getting moved all around. I want to see Josh Jacobs lined up in the backfield, split out, or lined up out wide, and then he comes back right next to Aidan O'Connell. I want to see Davante Adams going left to right. I want to see Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer, Austin Hooper, Hunter Renfrow. You have to show some pre-snap motion because that's also going to help out your quarterback, especially if he's a rookie, whether or not the mic is going to be on your running back, whether or not they're playing zone, whether or not they're playing man. Running pre-snap motion does so much for the QB, and I need to see more of it. Let's go to the next thing. Let's get all of your wide receivers and tight ends involved. This offense has so many playmakers on it, and I get it, man. Davante is an amazing player, and hell, if I was playing quarterback, I'd probably want to throw most of my targets towards Davante Adams too. But to me, Jimmy Garoppolo right now is doing a lot of the stuff that drove me nuts last season with Derek Carr, and he's just locking into one guy. It's Davante Adams first read, Davante Adams second read, and then he starts doing that pitter-patter, like little happy feet step, and then he's not finding the open receiver. By that time, it's just the route's already done. You took too long to get it going, but I want to see a balanced offensive attack. If that means 10 targets for Davante, 6 for Jacoby, 4 for Hunter. Let's get the tight ends involved here a little bit. I mean, we heard so much about the 2 tight end sets. Austin Hooper is a pass-catching tight end. Michael Mayer is a pass-catching tight end. Stop using them as just clear blockers all the time and get them out there and let them catch the football. You're not putting your players in the best positions to succeed. And I'm hoping with AOC that he sees the more of the field because right now Jimmy Garoppolo can't make all the throws. He can't make all the throws, and that's why that you're limited to the vanilla offense that you have right now. Let's go to the next key. No more turnovers. If your defense can't force turnovers, you can't commit turnovers, and it's really as simple as that. The Raiders have yet to force a single turnover this season, which, it's one of those things, it's kind of like a broken record. The Raiders are bad every single year at not getting turnovers. Do you know why? Because they don't get any pressure on the quarterback. Do you know why? Because they don't invest on the defense. Do you know why? Because they don't believe in going out and getting defensive tackle. The amount of just head-banging things that this team does drives me nuts. But the no more turnovers thing is, if you got a QB like Jimmy G, he leads the league in interceptions right now, that's not going to put a defense in a good position. If you don't control the football, if you don't win the turnover battle, when you're a below average team, you're going to lose a lot more than you're winning. And that's happening right now, and it's going to happen again if Jimmy, AOC, whoever turns over the football this Sunday. And then here's the final one. The Raiders need longer drives. Right now, the Las Vegas Raiders are second in the NFL, I guess I should say second last, 31st in the NFL in plays per game. As it stands right now, the Raiders are averaging 53.7 plays per game. The teams that are leading the NFL are in the low 70s. If you can't sustain long drives, and it's a lot of 3 and outs, it's a lot of short drives, that makes it much more difficult on your defense, and it makes your defense a lot more gassed and winded. It makes their job defensively a lot easier. But we have an offensive guru, right, for a head coach. I want to see it. An offensive-minded guru should be able to draw up more than one scoring drive, because the Raiders in that first quarter, first drive or two, woo, man, that offense is cooking. I mean, it's a beautiful offense. You're like, this team's going to put up 30 today. And then the second quarter happens. You're like, all right. Third quarter happens. All right. If you can't make adjustments and you can't figure out ways to get longer sustained drives, you're going to continue to lose football games. And I need to see it this upcoming week. So how about this? I want you to give me a key on offense for the Raiders to take down the Los Angeles Chargers. I gave you my 5 keys, technically 6 because I threw in Aidan O'Connell. So right now, sound off down below. Give me a key on offense for the Raiders to take down the Chargers. Coming up next here on the show, the defensive keys against the Chargers, which is a lot of the times I feel like the things that y'all care about, though, maybe with the new QB, it is a little bit different. But I wouldn't be able to do today's show if it wasn't for our awesome sponsor, Prize Picks. And I've been using Prize Picks for a long time. I mean, I say it all the time. I am a fantasy guy at heart. I mean, I love this stuff through and through. It's so much fun. And the fact that I get to hook up the nation with a $100 deposit bonus, man, that makes me happy. Prize Picks Daily Fantasy Sports made easy. Prize Picks is the most fun that I've had, winning up to 25 times my money this football season. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So what I wanted to show y'all is the picks that I'm making and ultimately my decision on why I did it. Justin Herbert, more than 284.5 passing yards. I can sit up here all I want and say the Raiders' keys to defense are this, this, and that. And I just feel like Patrick Graham, McDaniels, they watch this show and they're like, F this guy here. So Herbert, he's going to throw for more. Darren Waller, the other part about fantasy is having fun. I shouldn't say that. I hope Darren Waller stays healthy, but I hope that he has less than 45.5 receiving yards this upcoming week. And then Josh Jacobs, got to find the end zone. Give me more than 0.5, any kind of touchdown. I need JJ to find the end zone, and I need y'all to show me some TDs right now. So I've been playing Prize Picks recently, and I have no idea why I waited so long. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. If for whatever reason you can't remember that link, don't worry, I got you covered. It's down in the comments. It's down in the description of today's show. Huge, huge shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring the Raiders Report. So coming up here, some keys to the defense, because we got to get after Justin Herbert. And the Chargers had a major injury last week. Mike Williams, ACL, he's not going to be able to play. Watch out for Joshua Palmer. And I got a few things that I hope the Raiders do this week to come away with a W. First one is this: blitz early and often. When you go back and you look at the games recently that the Raiders have beaten the Chargers, they fluster Justin Herbert. They make him turn over the football. And how do you do that? You got to get after him. You got to blitz. I wish the Raiders didn't always have to blitz, but when you're as bad as they are on the defensive line, you got to blitz. And as soon as you start flustering Herbert, he's got all the talent in the world. From a talent standpoint, he is one of the most gifted quarterbacks in the league. But he struggles up here, and that's why he has struggled to have success in the NFL winning games. The Raiders are still kind of looking for that right defensive end. They have Max Crosby with Chandler Jones on the NFI list. Malcolm Kuntz gets a little bit of run. Tyree Wilson from time to time gets some run. But you have to blitz because it is the Max Crosby show. Because after that, you got no one. And you got a lot of bodies, right? You got a lot of bodies here on the defensive line. But let's face it, it's no names that people want, right? But if you had a black book and these were the names in your black book, these wouldn't be the names that you would brag about to your friends. You'd brag about Max Crosby, right? Max Crosby's the supermodel. These are not the names. These are the ones that I had a few too much to drink. And the Raiders' defensive line needs to get better. You got to blitz early and often. The next thing, you got to force a turnover. I want one. Yes, the Raiders had an opportunity this past week with Marcus Peters, and that was a monumental drop. I mean, that really changed the game. I think if Peters catches that football, maybe they win. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But you have to force a turnover, especially if you want to beat the Chargers, because if you don't force any turnovers, and the Chargers have played turnover-free football, they're a better football team than you, and you're going to lose that game. So sometimes you got to risk to win, and if you don't know that, then probably you've never been to Vegas, right? All right, we got a few more keys on the defensive side of the football, but here's your opportunity to give me a key on defense for the Raiders to take down Los Angeles. Can't wait to see the offense and the defensive key from the nation. Let's go to the next one here. It's Nate Hobbs on Keenan Allen. I'd say the most consistent Raiders corner this season has been Nate Hobbs. And I always go to this analogy because it just makes sense to me in my mind. I can remember when I was a kid and I played basketball, and we had this one kid on our team, man. He was an unbelievable defender. We used to always play box and one, and you put him on their best scorer, and essentially you said, hey, you don't worry about anybody else. All you do is you worry about that person. If I'm Nate Hobbs, I say, don't let Keenan Allen beat me. With Mike Williams out, if you want to give Nate Hobbs a little bit of help, you want to give him help over the top just in case, go ahead. But Keenan Allen's a slot, and he's going to do most of his work in the slot. He had 15 catches last week. You put Nate Hobbs in the slot, that's where he benefits. Like, Keenan Allen's probably a better receiver than what Nate Hobbs is a corner, and that's not a shot on Hobbs. That's just, let's be real here, Keenan Allen's the elite. But to me, I'm okay losing that matchup. I'm okay putting my best on their best. And if you have the ability to take away their best and make Justin Herbert go to these other areas, then you need your other players to step up. I'm not worried about Gerald Everett. I'm not worried about Josh Palmer. I'm not worried about those guys. I am worried about Keenan Allen, though. Let's go to the next one here. I want to put Max Crosby on Trey Pipkins. Trey Pipkins is the right tackle for Los Angeles. And some of these games recently I've been seeing, Max is going on the left side, he's going on the right side, back and forth. If I'm the Raiders and let's say you get 100 snaps from Crosby, well, it's not a realistic number. Let's say you get 60, 50 snaps from Max Crosby this week, right? I want every single one of them against the right tackle because Rashawn Slater is one of the best left tackles in the National Football League. And I would rather, Max is better than Rashawn Slater, but that's close. Like, Slater's a hell of a player. Pipkins, Crosby's going to eat that guy alive. And he's going to eat him up, and then they're going to be like, well, we're probably going to have to double team. That frees up another Raiders potential guy, maybe like a Malcolm Kuntz. Maybe it frees up a defensive tackle. But you got to take advantage of your mismatches. Max Crosby on Trey Pipkins is a mismatch that the Raiders need to take advantage of. And then the last one is this. You got to get off the field on third down. Right now, the Raiders are one of the worst teams in the NFL, bottom 5, at getting off the field on third down. What's crazy about what I'm showing y'all right now in this graphic is this graphic applies to last season, 2021, 2020, 2019. I could show this at any point. I could say, I did this show in 2018. I did the show in 2017. You need to start making some adjustments, Raiders, especially on the defensive side of the football. It's just very, very frustrating from top to bottom. And if you don't do these things, guess what? You're not going to end up winning the football game. Those are my keys on offense and my keys on defense for the Silver and Black. I know that I look frustrated. I see right now down in the comments, Mitch looks frustrated. I am frustrated. Are you not frustrated? Because we put our heart and souls into this team. You do everything you can to just be able to rally behind it. But when you don't get the product that you're looking for, it's frustrating, especially when the product, I think, it's not that difficult to be fixed. But when it's ignored because of arrogance, that's when I get frustrated. And I think a lot of people agree with me. So the last time I checked, the over-under in this game, 50.5 points. The Chargers are 4.5-point favorites, which I'm okay. I'd rather the Raiders be underdogs, and because they are the worst team compared to the Chargers, that does not mean that they can't win. The Chargers are well known for blowing leads. The Raiders, luckily this year, haven't blown any leads because, well, let's face it, they haven't really had many. But what I want you to do right now is predict the score. There's going to be a lot of Chargers. I shouldn't say that. There's going to be Chargers fans that end up watching this video. Charger fan, you're right. Fan's going to watch this, and he's going to get his score prediction in. Now I want you to get your score prediction. And if you see a Chargers fan, hey, get him out of my chat, right? Get him out of the comments. But always, and I mean this, I always want you to be honest. And if you think the Raiders are going to lose, it's fine. You're okay to say that. But just because I'm frustrated doesn't mean that I don't want this team to win. Doesn't mean I don't believe in the nation. It doesn't mean that I want Josh McDaniels to fail. I want Josh McDaniels to succeed. I want Jimmy Garoppolo to succeed. I want this team to succeed because I'm a lot more happy of an individual when they do. So give me the Raiders to win, Chugs. Give me the Raiders, Aidan O'Connell to win, 27-24. Sound good? Chugs likes it. Hopefully you do too. Give me your score predictions down below. Someday they'll see what you do back there. I need a button on my side where it's just, and they can see what you do when a show ends. It's got to be a bit. It's got to be a bit. We got one more segment to go. Chugs, give some shout-outs here to the score predictions. I got to change my jersey.
The world may never know. All right, let's see. Brian says a 20-20 tie. You're sounding like me, Brian. I always predict ties before the season. Let's see. My Raiders prediction still available. I said 10-6-1. Still available. ED Amazing, 28-20 Chargers. Blech. Tadashi K, 24-20 Raiders. Ryan Bass, 24-21 Raiders. Akura Comics, at this point, 3-24. Oh, I hope not. Wild One, 27-24 Chargers. Sorry. Oh my goodness, a lot of Chargers in here. Tropical Remy, 40-10 Chargers. Jonas, 28-7 Chargers.
That just shows you where the Raiders are at right now. And you know what's really frustrating
70-20. Ryan Crandall says Raiders beat the Chargers. 70-20.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
If Aidan O'Connell put up 70 in his first game,
bro, I would lose my shit. Imagine we watch the game Sunday and the entire offense is fixed. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that be just a beautiful, beautiful thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, we
can dream.
Super chats to get to.
We can dream.
Chev, welcome to the Raiders, Jose.
Also, guess what position the Raiders worked out today?
QB? DT?
DT should be the answer.
Tight end?
2 tight ends.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
We need defensive tackles, so let's work out 2 tight ends.
Joel, you're on the Raiders report.
Boy, I had a dunce cap on after that game on Sunday. We need Farva to play Sunday. Put me down for the Duck game.
I'm putting you as
McFarva.
McFarva.
I like it. Joel Allen, you in. If you don't know what I'm talking about here, send in a $5 super chat. You can give McDaniels any nickname that you want. Just put Mick in front of it, and then that's going to be the name that we use during the Duck race at the end. Wild One, trivia question. How did the jersey thing begin? I'm pretty sure I know. I don't know if you're asking everybody else, but I'm pretty sure I know. I mean, my recollection of it, now somebody had to get the jersey thing rolling, which I'm guessing because Wild One's asking. I'm guessing Wild One got the jersey thing rolling. I know 14 was one of the very first ones I had, but it was during Texans. Our Texans watch party last season, I said 500 and you get a jersey, and it was just like, and we ended up going that route. That's my recollection, Wild.
I know exactly how it started.
How?
It started with, I didn't have a Raiders jersey, so then it was
Ron?
$500 in super chats, or $500. No, it was a different number. It was a different number because we thought I was only going to get one. We said if somebody sent in at $250, I would get a jersey. And then we ended up I got 2 jerseys. Somebody who used to work here got a jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And you got 3 jerseys. I think we both got 3 jerseys.
And then we realized how much everything costs.
And then we had to raise it because we lost money that.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we thought it was going to be 1.
Yeah.
That's
now that you say that, I do remember because I remember the jerseys before then.
Because my first ones, I got an auto jersey from Raider Ron, and then a Wild One jersey, and then a Tri-Van jersey.
Yeah.
Rebel, it was okay. My 24-hour fast, it was a little tough. I think the hardest thing is that you don't even realize for me fasting for that, also no water.
I mean, that's the worst part. I don't even see how that's possible.
Dude, it was brutal.
How's that healthy? I don't know. I don't get it.
I mean, it's 24 hours. You can.
Yeah, but no water for 24 hours? That's wild, man. Especially after the bender y'all had.
Dude.
We had.
That's
what makes it tough.
That's why I was chugging water before.
That's crazy. No water. Wild.
Yeah, but then I ate my guts out, Rebel, that night. I had a great dinner.
That's the first thing I asked him when he walked in today. I was like, "So, how much food did you eat at 7 o'clock?" Because I know me, I would freaking pig the F out. Got a few more super chats to get to. McJared, you in?
You know how to say that last name?
Bergese. Gorgeous.
I think Trace would know. This is like
Bergo?
Bourget?
I think Jared looks like if you and I had a child and wore sunglasses.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate. Tropical Remy, we have a 20-game sample of games with McDaniels. He lost to a high school coach, Jeff Saturday.
He did.
He has done little or less since that game. Why is that enough reason to have another coach take over? It's because Mark Davis wants to be patient with Josh McDaniels. And I think because Davis has fired so many coaches so quickly, I think he's just like, I don't care what happens. I'm going to trust the process, and I'm going to hope that the process figures itself out. I don't have the answer for you, man. I've been trying to find it myself. I just think when you watch certain things happen over and over and over again, there's no way that you can be confident that you made the right choice.
Martin, I think you're right. Bourgeois.
Bourgeois? Bourgeois. Well, bourgeois to you, sir. Let's go to Dustin. McDan my taint. McDan my taint.
Nice.
Wow. Duncan from Connecticut. This one's for Chugs. You were right. Cooper Rush would never. This team sucks. Raiders are better than that. Steaming hot pile of poop in Dallas.
Duncan, if you win, I'll send you my free Cooper Rush t-shirt that I have here in the back.
I mean, I got to do live meetings from the moment I get in. So I'm coming in tomorrow, though, at 7 a.m. So if you want to do it then.
I can do it
Okay.
at 7.
Yeah, I can do it at 7. Okay,
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sam usually gets here at 8:45 and says he gets here at 7. So we'll actually see what it is.
I'll be
6:30?
here at 7 tomorrow, so we can do it then.
If he's not here by the time you get in, you get to McPun him in the nuts.
All right, sounds good. Raider greats. Jimmy G is Dan Pass. Aidan is Jim Plunkett. I mean, the amount of analogies that we made earlier about, like, it's kind of funny with Derek Carr, Matt Schaub, where Matt Schaub right now, like Jimmy Garoppolo's Matt Schaub, and Aidan O'Connell has a chance to beat Derek Carr.
Honestly, Matt Schaub better than Jimmy G. Dude, he led the league in passing yards 1 year.
1 year. I'm saying,
dude,
at the end of Matt Schaub's career,
maybe at the very end, but I'm
he
saying
had
like
noodle arm.
Oh, dude, he could sling it though.
Oh, I know he could.
Mid-career.
One of the greatest fantasy football seasons that I ever had, I had Matt Schaub as my QB. And I want to say it's like 2013, it's a long time ago. But I had Matt Schaub, and I forget who his number one receiver was. I think it was Andre Johnson. I think it was Andre Johnson. That's also the same year that I had. Is that the same year? I don't know.
He had Andre Johnson and Owen Daniels.
Oh, dude, I always picked Owen Daniels. Owen Daniels was one of my guys.
Slept on, tight end for his career. Owen Daniels, really good.
Yeah. Dude, that Gary Kubiak offense with those guys, that was fun.
Arian
Foster. Raphael, put me in, coach.
I'm ready to play today.
McDoofus for the win. Contemplating going to SoFi for the game. Someone convince me. Raphael, if you go to the game and if you take a sign that says Chugs for head coach, we'll put it up on the show. Is that enough?
Wait, say that again?
He said, convince me to go to the game. I said, Raphael, go to the game, get a sign that says Chugs for head coach. Take a picture, send it, we'll put it up on the show.
Taino, my guy.
McSystem, I'm in, Chugs. Low-key, this is a good one. It's not hilarious, but it's a very good one. McSystem, I agree. Luis, even if we start AOC, I'm still worried we'd lose the game thanks to McPatrick Starr. Am I in? You are in, and you have every right to be nervous about Patrick Graham, but I do think that this year Raider fans are being, honestly, not fair to the defense, considering the fact that the Raiders are 31st in the NFL in plays ran. Their defense is out there on the field all the freaking time. They're gassed half the time. And when your offense can't sustain drives, it puts a lot more stress on your defense. But you held the Broncos to 16. I get it, but still 16 points in the NFL is impressive. You got your shit pushed in by Buffalo, but Buffalo, believe it or not, is one of the best teams in the NFL. And then last week against Pittsburgh, yeah, you gave up 23, but I mean, you put your defense in tough situations when you turn the ball over 3 times. If you limit your turnovers, the Raiders' defense right now is playing a lot better than what it's getting credit for. That's a cold, hard fact. It is. And now, if you watch the box scores at the end, it might be a different answer. Our tight end coach is a career quarterback coach, and Mayer looks lost out there, and it's not surprising with this coaching staff. I know, right? Like, this is one of those things where that drives me nuts with McDaniels, that they're like, all right, we're just going to get a whole bunch of guys that we know. We're going to put them in situations, and it should be fine. Well, I've never seen Michael Mayer look as lost as what he looks.
We already have a QB coach. Just throw him with the tight ends.
I mean, it's craziness. It's craziness.
Close, but no cigar. It did begin with Chugs MVP contest winner picked Chugs' number. The bidding, okay, yeah. This makes a little bit more sense.
The bidding was cut off at 500. Chugs had received 3 jerseys.
So I guess it was the MVP got to choose my jersey. And then it got to 500, and we were like, okay, every time somebody sends in up to 500, I'll get a jersey.
I mean, that checks out. Like I said, the amount of shit that happens on this show, and usually when something like this happens, I'm not 100% there, but it's good to know. It's good to know. Wild one. Thank you, my guy. Let's go to Bobby B. Interested in both of your opinions on this one. Do you think it bothers Mark Davis with the amount of away team fans that pack Allegiant Stadium? You can go first.
I mean, yes. I know it does because he made a comment in Week 18 last year whenever the 49ers came to Allegiant about how upset he was and how much it hurt his feelings, how much red he saw in the stadium. But let me ask you this. If you leave your house dirty as shit, are you going to be upset when you see cockroaches?
Interesting analogy.
It's your fault. You made a mess. Clean it up. I mean, come on. How idiotic can you be? If you're putting out a shit product, if you make a shitty-ass movie and nobody goes to it, and you're like, why is nobody going to my movie? Because it's shit.
I mean, that answers it. I don't even think you need my answer. That's exactly what I would say. I want you to cut that at the end of this. I mean, that's a great analogy. I mean, Mark Davis did this. I get like he made more money, and he's probably happy that he's putting more money in his pocket, but the product is shit right now.
That pissed me off last year whenever he was mad at Raider fans for not going to the game, because it's like, you make the ticket so expensive. You put out a shit product. What the hell do you expect? Like,
I mean, that's a great analogy. I'm gonna steal that. I came up with it, not Jeremy. Let's go to Cayman Raider. Kick a field goal needs to be fired. It's a great one. That one, I think everyone, when you heard that was kind of like a shot to the heart a little bit, but it's a good one. Start AOC, and we might just have a chance to beat the Chokers. That's the hope, man. That's the hope. Brian, they posted IG, you fly this long, you run out of gas. Man, I don't know. I'm telling you, I said it earlier, Davante Adams is scaring the hell out of me. And I don't blame him. He deserves to be frustrated. He deserves. I mean, they literally, Davante said, I want to have a say in who the next quarterback is. They don't give him a say. They pick their guy, and it's not working. It's not working. If they lose Davante, I'm telling you what, people are going to riot. I really believe that. We got 670 people here in the building, y'all. We almost have 670 likes. Can we get to 670 likes? That'd be dope. Wild one. Continued. Mitch then decided he wanted the new one, too, because he used his car one. I Venmo'd the 500 and paid for Mitch's, too. Oh, that was the 3K show. That was when Wild one. This is why I used to I shouldn't say why I used to love Wild. Wild one, we used to send in like the big ones. He would always add 14. So it was like, I remember it was 3,014 and 14 cents. The 14. Shout out to the fourth. Another Wild 114 production. Alfredo. McMarcus Russell. McMarcus Russell tapes. I will be at the game on Sunday rooting for my Raiders.
I forgot the 14-cent Venmos.
The 14-cent ones.
$50 and
14 cents.
I remember we did an MVP show where Wild One just kept on doing whatever the next person did.
With 14 cents more, yeah.
Somebody sent in 100, 114 cents.
Yeah.
150, 150 and 14 cents. It reminds me of that episode of The Office where they're doing the auction, and it's Bob Vance and it's Dwight, and Bob's like $100, and he's like $100 and 1 penny.
Yeah. Imagine that'd be a terrible, terrible auction. Suicide gun, first timer. I feel like we've had more also, but
no, I feel
that's what YouTube's telling me.
I feel like Suicide Guns has super chatted before. I've definitely seen those traps before.
I mean, YouTube's telling me it's the first time. Suicide, is this your first time super chat? Yes or no? Because I agree with you, but I wonder if it's like a different name. I don't know. Suicide, let us know.
I don't
Bench
know.
McDummy. I hope Marky Dorky Davis pulls his head out of his butt and fires McDummy. Let's go Raiders.
I was gonna pick McDummy.
Play for each other, but we have about 600.
To put Marky Dorky Davis.
Marky Dorky Davis. Marky Dorky Davis. I get it. Let's go. Marky Dorky Davis. All right, coming up next here on the show, I got 5 players that I want to see get more playing time against the Chargers, that deserve more playing time against the Chargers. And then after we get done doing that, we will then do the duck race at the very, very end of the show.
Oh, wait. Before we get started, I have to go to this.
What?
This warms my heart.
What?
Hold on 1 second.
I'm worried. What are you going to? Just for you. Love you both. Been some great times.
Look at the amount.
Oh, 214. Oh, man. I mean, Wild One last year, kind of like what Wild One did last year is kind of like what Brandon Jasper's done this year, where you're just like, holy shit. Wild One's just like, what can I do to these guys today? You know, like, and again, when you have a guy like Wild One, it helps pave the path for a guy like Brandon, pave the path for Borelli, pave the path for Tri-Van, and you get a guy like Zahn, paves the path for Wild One. Raider Ron paves the path for Zahn. Like, it's just a ever-going thing. It's why we have Mount Raider more, because Wild One, I mean, like, these guys make the show fun. Obviously, everybody makes the show fun, but the Super Chats are, like, kind of the way to help the show carry on, right? If Chugs and I do 4 segments and then get out of here, it's an hour and 20 minutes. The Super Chats, it's like, when you see that red pop up on screen and you get the screen bang, I'm telling you right now, for anybody that's ever been in Las Vegas and you hit that jackpot, that's what it feels like every single time. It's an electric feeling.
I wonder if this is former Raider Solomon Thomas.
Probably not. But Solomon, what's up, man?
Maybe.
Mick Yaps conference are like when two friends forget they had a presentation, so they just make random things up to try to reach the time requirement. Could not agree with you more.
It's like the night before your paper's due. You need 1,000 characters. You're at 600. The game where the Raiders and the Chargers played during the NFL season, week 4, during October. And when you really look at it, I really think that when the game goes on and you think about field goals, which field goals are 3 points in the National Football League, and then you're in the red zone. The red zone is actually inside the 20-yard line of the other opposing team. That's what happens, and then I finish my sentence.
And then you realize you're at 900 characters, then you have to make the periods just an extra font bigger to just take up the room. That's a great hack. If you don't know that one, that's what I used to do on all my papers in college. If you're listening, professor, sorry. So, like, back in college, like, our professors used to give us page requirements. So this paper needed to be 6 pages, 10 pages, right? And on a 1-page paper, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. But on a 6-page, a 10-page, I had one paper that was 20-page paper due. So what you do is you type out your entire whatever that you're going to do. And if, let's say, it's a 20-page paper, realistically, you could get to like 17 pages. And then you do find and replace. So you find all the periods, 12 font, and you make them 14 size font. And because of that difference with so many periods or commas or whatever, it makes it bigger. So it's the same amount, and you go from like 17 pages to like 20 pages like that. I used to do it all the time in college.
Well, now kids don't even write their papers. They just use ChatGPT, so.
Probably. I mean, yeah. It's you're probably right. Solomon, I agree, though. Listen to that guy talk, makes me go insane, and I just sit up here and I wonder, whether or not anybody knows what he's saying, That's how I feel, All right, coming up next here on the show, 5 players that deserve more playing time, and then
a duck race.
A McDuck race. That's going to be coming up here on the show. Chuggy Bull, you ready?
Yep. Oh.
What?
Gary's birthday.
Gary. Happy birthday, Gary.
Meow.
Happy birthday to Mr. Gary. Also, we have 666 people watching. 665 likes.
Somebody liked the video.
No, I don't. Oh, God. Ah! Oh, dude, I don't know if I've ever seen that. 666 viewers, 666 likes. All right, good.
I screenshotted it.
We had 10 people leave. That's good. Dude, that's scary.
I screenshotted it. I'm sending
Tropical Remy says, I must go. Have a great night. Tropical Remy, have a great night, brother. All right, let's do this. Do the duck race. And then let's quack on out here. Ready?
Yep.
Set. Go.
Quack!
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report with Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, 5 players that deserve more playing time against the Chargers. Now it's time for McDaniels. It's time for this entire team to focus. And maybe they need to go out and try some nootropics from Panda Sups. Use code FOCUS for 25% off at pandasups.com. That link's going to be available for you guys down in the comments and in the description of today's show. So the Raiders have a tough matchup against an AFC West rival. I get it. Both teams are 1-2, but they are the underdog, and I will say this is going to be a home game for the Silver and Black, which we desperately need right now, being in Inglewood, California at SoFi Stadium. But the one thing that I continue to say is there are certain players on this team that they need more reps. And the Raiders right now, after losing 2 straight games, you got to switch it up a little bit. And if certain players aren't playing as well, McDaniels, Patrick Graham, whoever, put them on the bench. It's okay. Just because this was the plan doesn't mean you got to stick to it. Sometimes you got to deviate from the plan, and there's other players that deserve more opportunities. So you know the song, "Put Me In, Coach. I'm ready to play. Put in Hunter Renfrow more." I need to see more reps from number 13. If you're going to pay him all that money, put him out there on the field. Let him run his routes. Let him play a little backyard football. Just because McDaniels has to be so like, oh, you got to do exactly this, doesn't mean it always works. It hasn't worked. So let's get Renfrow some more opportunities. Get him out there in space. Let him do his thing. Because this season he's played in 76 snaps on offense. That's about 33% of the offensive snaps. He's been targeted 3 times, has 3 catches for 40 yards and 2 first downs. I do think that it's going to be Aidan O'Connell out there. If it's Brian Hoyer, I'm going to be one upset dude. But to me, Renfrow can be that good safety blanket. And when you have a quarterback that's inexperienced, I don't care how many years Brian Hoyer's in the league. He doesn't have actual gameplay experience. And if it's the rookie, like it better be, he also obviously doesn't have gameplay experience. So you get a receiver like Hunter Renfrow, you line him up in the slot, you tell him to do simple routes, and that way Aidan knows that that's your check down guy, or that's the guy that I can rely on in case things get ugly. You need Hunter Renfrow out there. The Raiders need Hunter Renfrow out there. Raider Nation needs Renfrow out there. He deserves more playing time. Now, I still got 4 more dudes that deserve more playing time, but remember, Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to be live 3 p.m. Eastern time here on the Raiders Report. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got those notifications turned on. And if you do plan on watching this show, take that link down below. Send it to some other Raider fans, because the bigger this party gets, the more crazy that the Raiders Report can get, and we need a just win, baby. Let's go to the next player that deserves more playing time. It's Trey Tucker. You got to get Trey Tucker involved more. And Juggs just said in my ear, 2 wide receivers? Yeah, guess why? Because this offense stinks right now, and you need to figure out a way to jumpstart it. I want the Raiders to design more plays for Hunter Renfrow. I just want Trey Tucker to be on the field as a decoy. And sure, he might get a rushing attempt, which honestly, he deserves another carry. He deserves a few deep shots his way. But the most important thing that I want to see the Raiders use Trey Tucker for, use his speed, use his acceleration, use him a little bit more in pre-snap motion. Because if you do have that young, inexperienced quarterback out there, and Trey Tucker's running left and right, that's going to help him figure out, all right, is the defense running zone? Are they end up running man? Is that linebacker going to follow him? Like, it tells you so many different things pre-snap motion. He's played in only 21 snaps this season, which is 12%. And the 2 times that Trey Tucker has been targeted, one was a carry, which went for 34 yards, and guess what? The Raiders scored a touchdown on that drive. The other time that he was targeted was a deep ball down the sidelines, and if you remember, he caught it, but he was out of bounds. But it was a phenomenal catch by Tucker. Garoppolo needs to put a better ball on him, but to me, I have seen the ball go towards Trey Tucker twice. One time went for 34 and it was very good. The other time, it should have been pass interference. That's what it was. Should have been pass interference. Get the ball in your playmaker's hands, or get some more speed out there, because what you're doing right now, it's not working. You need to switch it up here a little bit. So this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So you're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break, and I want to know a player that deserves more playing time this week against the Chargers. While that ad is playing, tell me who you think that player needs to be. And if you could do me a big favor, let the ad play all the way out. Helps out Jeremy and I a lot. So you're about to get it with a YouTube ad break. Let me know a player that deserves more playing time this week. All right, let's go to the next name here on the list. Let's go to the defensive side of the football, Malcolm Koonce. And when I say I want Malcolm Koonce on the field more, I think it depends on the situation. And I get it, you're not always going to be able to predict whether or not the team is going to pass or run. But to me, if we have all these gurus, which remember, I've been told that we have gurus all over the place, our coaching staff, we need to figure out a way to get Malcolm Koonce in those pass rushing situations. He's played in a nice amount of snaps on defense so far this season. And right now, as it stands, okay, he hasn't played in as many, I believe it's like minimum 35 pass rush attempts, but he has a 21.9% win rate. For comparison, Max Crosby's win rate right now is 21.2. I'm not saying that Koonce is playing better than Crosby, but when Koonce has been out there, he has been effective. So to me, even though he's bad against the run, the Raiders need to create pressure. And when your linebackers have played as well as they have, which they have, right? We got to give some credit to Robert Spillane. You got to give some credit to Davante Adams out there. I'm okay with the Raiders sacrificing their run defense, because even when the DTs are out there, they're not doing much of anything. So why not put Malcolm Koonce opposite side of Max Crosby, or let's get really wild, put Max Crosby and Malcolm Koonce on the same side of the field and let them try to get after the quarterback. I need pressure, and if you don't pressure Justin Herbert, you're going to continue to lose. You're not going to force turnovers. Let's get Malcolm Koonce some reps. Now, again, today's show is presented by Panda Sups. I freaking love these guys, man. They've been supporting this show for a long time. My guy Murbad is a diehard Raider fan, and this is the product that I want y'all to try out because I'm sure not a lot of y'all have heard about it. But once you try it, you're going to say, wow, how have I not heard about this before? They're called nootropics, okay? And they are the most versatile brain fuel product out right now. Designed for anyone looking to increase their focus, productivity, energy, mood, and vision, Panda Focus can be used as an energy drink replacement, coffee, or to spark a motivation. Panda Focus enables you to unlock your full potential and give you a competitive advantage no matter if you're a professional athlete, maybe a gamer, CEO of a company, hell, a student. I really, truly wish that I knew about nootropics or had nootropics when I was in college or in high school because shit, I don't even know what school I would have been able to go to. So here's what I need you to do. Harvard's a little bit of a push. I can probably go to the Harvard of Arkansas. Use code FOCUS for 25% off at pandasups.com. It's going to be down in the comments. It's going to be down in the description. If you need something to lock in and focus, especially when you have that crash at around 2 or 3, hell, Jeremy's yawning right now. I'm going to have to get him some focus from Panda Sups. Let's go to the next player here that they deserve to put me in, coach. Nesta Jade Silvera, can we get this guy some snaps? Can he just be active? Like, how can the Raiders, and this is what drives me nuts about this team, how can you say that we're building for the future, but you don't put your future in? I don't know if Nesta Jade Silvera is going to be a good defensive tackle, but I know this. He's got a lot longer of a future with the silver and black than somebody like John Jenkins does. Because, yes, Jenkins has played well, but you know what? I want to see what the young guy has, especially because he played well in the preseason. He looked solid during minicamp, OTAs, like training camp, and he's been a healthy scratch for 3 weeks in a row. You traded away Neil Farrell Jr. You cut Matthew Butler. We do not have any young defensive tackles on this roster. He's the best run stopper I think that this team has right now at defensive tackle, and yet he's nowhere to be found. You have nothing to lose by playing him. Your DT room is the worst DT room in the National Football League. What do you have to lose? Put him out there. Let's see what he's got. Worst case scenario, you have an extra defensive tackle, an extra body, an extra person who's going to be, I don't know, able to just give it their go all the time. I want guys that have motor because if you don't have talent, you need to have the stamina. And Jerry Tillery's been bad. Byron Young's been really bad. Yeah, John Jenkins, Adam Butler have probably been the top 2 defensive tackles. Bilal Nichols been battling a little bit of a hamstring hand injury. So why not? Put out the rookie. Let's see what he's got to work with. And then the final player is this. It is Aidan O'Connell. He needs to play this week. I don't care if Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy. I don't care that Brian Hoyer is listed as the QB2. I've been saying it for weeks, months, and what's crazy is, you bring in a QB like Jimmy Garoppolo, and we've had this conversation so many times on the Raiders Report because it was a matter of when, not if, Jimmy Garoppolo missing a game, when he gets injured. And yes, he's dealing with a concussion. It's a totally, totally different style of injury. But guess what? We knew sooner or later Jimmy G wasn't going to be able to go, and I said that it's not going to be Brian Hoyer. It's going to end up being Aidan O'Connell, and it better be Aidan O'Connell because if it's Brian Hoyer, the nation is going to riot. I mean, that's just it. Right now, Jimmy G, bad. Brian Hoyer, bad. O'Connell, he passed the eye test during the preseason. You need to give this fan base a reason to hope. But not only that, when you hear things like what Davante Adams said after their loss on Sunday, when you see the thing that he just posted on his Instagram, and again, like Davante Adams is a guy that you got to keep happy. And to me, defenses do not respect you because your quarterback play is pathetic. I don't know what I'm going to get out of Aidan O'Connell. I have no idea. But I do think he's going to open up the entire offense. And he might not be ready to play compared to the way Jimmy Garoppolo was ready to play. But from an arm talent standpoint, Aidan O'Connell is the more talented quarterback. He is. And because of that, it's going to open up the running game. And if you can get the running game going, if you told me right now I get Josh Jacobs back, the Jacobs I had last season in that running game, I don't know if it matters as much who you have at quarterback because you're going to be able to do a better job than what you were doing now. And that's what Aidan O'Connell's going to do. On top of that, the quarterback class is so deep next year. We got to see what we have in this kid now because if it's not Jimmy Garoppolo, you're really going to pass up on potentially a Drake May, a Caleb Williams, a Penix Jr., a Quinn Ewers. I don't know who the top quarterbacks are. You're going to pass up those guys because you have Aidan? It's going to be a tough one to sell to the nation, especially if you're really, really bad this season. So here's my question. Let's say all three are healthy. All three are healthy. You get to pick a starter. McDaniels and Ziegler are like, obviously, I have no idea what I'm doing. You get to pick the QB. Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer, Aidan O'Connell. No? Hell no. AOC. That's the correct answer. So one more time here, 5 players who deserve more playing time against the Los Angeles Chargers. 2 receivers in Hunter Renfrow and Trey Tucker. Got to change something offensively. Malcolm Kuntz, Nesta Jade Silvera. Got to change something on the defensive line. And then the way that your quarterback play has been, you got to change that too. So let's give Aidan O'Connell a shot against the Chargers. All right, sounds good. Why? What's he doing?
Yeah, Robert, I'm going to let you know right now, I'm about to block you from the channel if you don't stop.
What's he doing?
He said, Chat Sports and the Raiders Report want to drive away everybody who doesn't send in super chats, which is the furthest thing from the truth. We include you in every show, Robert, and we try to be as nice as we can to you, even whenever you say mean things, do things to us.
Yeah,
we
Robert.
include Martin. We include everybody who watches here on the channel. And for you to say that is a big load of BS. So I'm going to give you one more chance, Robert. If you want to say things like that, I'm going to block you from the channel. Because I've been nice. I've been letting you kind of say stuff, do your jabs for the past month. But shit like that pisses me off.
There you go.
Robert, if you keep it up, I'm blocking you from the channel.
There we go.
And that's a fact.
Duvall, Brian Schaefer, what up, Bye? What up, Isaiah? After that, now it's time to get into a duck race here. I can't wait. I'm excited to see this McDaniels duck race go down.
Get to it.
I can't wait to see how this thing goes down, man. What up, Brian Schaefer? What up, Duvall? Appreciate you guys still tuning in. Ross Felix, I mean, we will end up doing it, unfortunately. I don't like to block anybody, especially with somebody that I do feel like we've been very kind to with Robert. Heck, he's even got a jersey. Somebody donated him one. But, yeah, I mean, that shit's not going to fly here, man. So you can get it together or, you know, you can go somewhere else. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
So we got 645 people
sorry
watching.
for going on a tangent. Maybe that was too far, but it pisses me off when we try to be as inclusive as possible and people give shots like that, especially to somebody who we've been nice to.
I hear you. Believe me, especially as somebody that's been given a jersey from somebody. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So here we go. We're going to get into the duck race right now, okay? We're going to get into the duck race right now. I want to move on from whatever that whole thing was, but I think everyone agrees with Chugs here. I think we do a good job of trying to include everybody.
Let me get all the names in.
And make sure, yeah, you get all the names in right now. I mean, the other part, and, you know, we try to be very transparent here. Part of Super Chats is I get that there's a long line, right? Think of Super Chats as the easy pass at Disney. Everybody can wait in line, and we can answer all these questions, and I get it. But sometimes, you know, you got to be able to skip the line. On top of that, it's a free show. I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. But I don't appreciate that, and I hope that, you know, changes very, very quickly here. All right, what up, Oscar Meza? Pick a starter. Let's give some shout-outs here, okay? I want to get some shout-outs here to the nation, if you could. Jimmy Garoppolo, type JG. Brian Hoyer, type BH. Aidan O'Connell, I want AOC. If you could pick a starter and they were 100% healthy, who would you go with? Who would you go with? Zalesbo is going to say AOV, so I don't even know who that is. Lord Only Dance, Zalesbo, spamming AOC. I got Rusty T, Aidan O'Connell. Jeff Garcia, Zach. I mean, I see nothing but Aidan O'Connell's down below, and I don't blame people. Like, I want to see a change. I really do. Now, I want to be confident in this team. I want to be confident in our ability in being able to go out there and just doing our thing offensively, right? Because I'll admit, Jimmy Garoppolo has missed a lot of throws. He has. He has missed a lot of throws. He's missed a lot of reads. And I got to be an honest person because when you watch a lot of the game, you know, you don't see everything. But then you go back and you watch the film. Jimmy's played way worse This is a lot coming from me, right? Jimmy's played worse than what Derek Carr played last year. Derek was not a top 20 quarterback in any stretch of the imagination. Jimmy G right now, he ain't even playing like a top 25 quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. And when you have that bad a quarterback play, I'll admit, I don't think McDaniels done a good job scheming up the right offenses and whatnot. However, though, McDaniels does need to learn how to put his guys in better positions. And I'm hoping with Aidan O'Connell, the offense ends up translating. All right, couple more here. I've been supporting for years. New account for more subs. Much love, Raiders. I was going to say, suicide guns we've had here for a long time. There's no doubt about it. So, hey, cheers to you. On my way to the Raiders season ticket member appreciation day, hopefully I see McDummy or McDorky so I can tell him, hey, please, man. Please do it. Please do it. Let's go to Wild One. Oh, Panda? I don't want to say yes or no. While I would say let me read the back of the products, but I'll text Merbod and then I'll hit you up. And yeah, I'll hit you up in the Mount Raidamore group chat and I can give you the information. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but it's probably something that I should know. But it's a good question. All right, let's go to Nick. My duck name, Josh McHuntfield. I was worried of saying that. I was worried if it was going to be something else. It might still be. Have JMD read this too. Josh McDaniels, we suck. I'm too good. Let's pick up the mood. Nick, thanks for picking up the mood here. Hopefully your duck wins. And then Rebel Montana. I'd rather put Mitchell Renz as QB than Hoyer. I don't think you would.
Can you throw a ball farther than Brian Hoyer?
No. Brian Hoyer I think Brian Hoyer could throw a football 15, 20 yards further than what Jimmy Garoppolo could. When you watch that preseason game with Jimmy G, and then you saw Brian Hoyer was throwing fastballs compared to Jimmy Garoppolo. That's a problem. You can run. I don't know if I can run anymore, Rebel. I'm getting older. The last time I legitimately sprinted, I popped my hammy at a Raiders softball game. I was going for an inside the Parker, and I popped that shit, man. That was brutal. It's very sad, Agent. Very, very sad. I know. Oh, man. Robert, here's the thing. Jugs wasn't off base, so you can deal with it. All right, dude, I love this. We're doing a clock here. It showed up as a minute 9. Showed up. The real ones will know. 69-second McDaniels duck race clock. Now, for those that don't know, everyone that sent in a $5 super chat, you have your opportunity to get in this race. The winner is going to get a Raiders Report shirt. So we are either going to do the McDaniels Eats Corn the Long Way shirt, or we're going to do the Chargers Fans Eat Corn the Long Way shirt. We'll let you decide what shirt you want. Now, I'm going to try to do my best here because I usually can do the duck race commentating, I think, pretty well, but that's because I know y'all's names. You know what I mean? Like, you see a name, you recognize it. I'm going to see a bunch of McDipshits and McDumbholes and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to try my best here. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. And we are off here, and it's an early lead for the Pink Duck, which I believe is Mick Raider Rob out to a lead. Then at the McTeabag down below. Watch out for Mick Disappointment Jack. Up top is Mick Jamarcus Russell's tapes. This is going to be a hell of a race here. Oh, watch out for McQueef. Mick Ryan Bass down below. Mick TJ Armstrong pulling up to the scene right now. But in the very beginning, Mick Duncan from CT's got the lead. McQueef falls back a little bit. McLovin. McFarva now pulling up, 28 seconds to go. Right now, I'd say McLovin's got this one by just a bill, but McDickless is starting to pull ahead. He looks a little ready. Maybe he's getting a little bit tired. McNumbnuts now is making this a very interesting McBrown streak. But wait, McJunk Punk Oh, he slowed down. I thought Mick Jungpuck was going to win. Right now it's Mick Numbnuts. Mick Numbnuts in the lead. But Mick Farva. Mick Farva. I mean, that's proof Aidan O'Connell is playing and getting a win this week. Mick Farva with the win. Yep. Congratulations to Mick Farva. Now we got to find out. Nick said that was worth the $5, man. What up, OV? What up, Graf? It's great. Dude, I had a hell of a time this weekend. Get him a gosh darn liter of cola. Who was Mick Farva? We got to go through and we got to go back and look. I think I remember they didn't put in Mick Farva. So if you remember, they talked about Aidan O'Connell, and I said Mick Farva. The other way that we could do it, Joel Allen? Yeah, that was it. Joel Allen, you're the winner. Joel Allen. Joel Allen, you are the winner of McDaniels Eats Corn the Long Way shirt. Congratulations to you. And if you want to get your hands on this shirt, go to chatsports.com/corn. Joel Allen, are you here? Joel Allen says, that was me. Joel, what I need you to do now is I need you to message Jeremy on Twitter. Message Jeremy on Twitter. Give him a follow. That way he can get your DM at Jeremy Chugs. That way we can get your address and we can ship this out to you. Sound good? Shout out to Joel Allen. I mean, I'm telling you, Mick Farva. Aidan O'Connell, he's starting. We're getting a win.
And because Elon sucks,
yeah,
I've had to change it up a little bit. Because Elon sucks and he won't let me DM people unless they follow me and I follow them back, and I got to make sure everything's good. If you can't DM me at first, tweet at me and say, hey, this is Joel Allen. I'll get in and I'll DM you. Because I won't pay $5 a month.
Got it. Doing it now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Joel, he says he's going to do it now.
Yeah. If it doesn't let you message me, tweet at me. Say, at Jeremy Chugs, yo, this is Joel. Hit me up.
And to everyone out there, it's like, oh, I'll just say that I'll do that.
We'll find you.
I mean, it's easy to be able to figure it out.
We'll find you, and we will send Brandon Jasper after you.
Mm. That's no bueno. That's no bueno. No bueno. You got him?
I'm waiting.
Jeremy's going to be waiting, Joel. So here's the thing. We're going to get on out of here. I appreciate every single person that watches the show. I appreciate everybody.
In case you win anything, you should probably just follow me on Twitter already, just in case, because that's how we. I
mean, that's how we do the giveaways here.
So
it's a lot easier.
If you plan on doing any of our giveaways, any of our raffles in the future, give me a follow on Twitter. That's how I will get a hold of you. Joel, I see ya. He's
got him? Nice.
Dude, Joel, are you in, like, the Air Force?
Second day Marshall, no show. Go home, Marshall. No show for Marshy. I think he's...
Husker, yeah, you can add me on Instagram as well.
Yeah, IG works too. Has Eckler been cleared to play? I still don't know. I don't know. Wild one, Robert. There is locals to ask multiple questions to Mitch. 12 a month. They both have Twitter and Instagram. They're always...
Yeah, and but I'm pulling down the curtain. To be completely honest with you, Robert, the reason why we stopped doing that is because people weren't watching the mailbag videos.
Yeah.
People did not. People did not want to see that content. So we're only going to put out content that people that watch the Raiders Report want to watch. So if we're putting out a mailbag and nobody watches it, me and Mitch are going to say, hey, people don't want to watch mailbags.
Yeah, I mean, we still give you guys opportunities to, use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to get those questions on the show. I get it, right? And maybe it's something that we're going to try to do going forward.
Now this makes me feel awesome.
What?
Joel said, actually, I'm a Navy vet.
Okay.
Shout out to Joel. Spam the Joels in the comment section. Thank you for your service, Joel. Let's go.
I'm glad you guys had a good time. I think, sometimes
We did actually have another super chat.
we did have another. Second day Marshall no-show. Go home, Marshall.
God. Hey, Joel, thank you for your service. Let's go, Joel.
Shout out to Joel for getting the dub today. I was worried that Trivan was going to win, even though he wasn't here. So that was wild again from Sunday, man. Shout out to Joel. All right, y'all. Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to hop on out of here. And here's the deal. The next time that the Raiders Report is live, it's not going to be me. It's going to be Jeremy Chuggs and Nick Roloff.
Yeah.
So Rolly was the guy that was rolling with us during the weekend opener, I guess the Chiefs game when the Lions played. You might not recognize him. So we got basically...
Wait, where'd your body go?
I mean, honestly, it's like...
We bringing back the lion roar?
Oh, yes. You guys are roaring like lions, man. So it's going to be Jeremy Chuggs, Nick Roloff, live Thursday. We're going to get that show kicked off at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then I'll be back on Sunday. I got a wedding in North Dakota, which never been in North Dakota, so I'm interested to see how it goes. So I'm actually out of commission from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Family, you got to do what you got to do. But I'll tell you this right now. If you invite me to your wedding and it's during football season, I'm not a happy camper. I'm excited to see my family, but during football season, come on, man. That's brutal to me.
And I think there's only one way we end this show, Mitch.
How do you do it?
Spam Go Home Marshall.
I'm down. Wild one. I know I'm a slacker. Big time. All right, spam Go Home Marshall because Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to be going home as well the next time that we're live here on the Raiders Report. Rolly, Chuggs, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Set those reminders. I don't know who you're going to be rooting for, but I can guarantee you that Chuggs and Rolly are going to be roaring like lions, and I'm going to be roaring Raiders a lot when they take down the Chargers on Sunday. Make sure you're here at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Peace out. Go home, everyone.